Hello and welcome back to Serie A Spotlight. We're your hosts Jake
and Matt.
You know what time it is!
I can't tell you guys enough how much you've been my internal monologue when thinking about football for the last year.
Yes, amazing! We get to record while drinking some wine. Jake and I will have a very special soft spot for Salernitana.
We love him.
We love him. Stop zooming in on Allegri's face, bro. You're gonna make
How
me
are you
break.
exposing me?
Because you're gonna make me break, man.
Hello and welcome back to yet another episode of Serie A Spotlight. We're your hosts Jake
and Matt.
And this is episode 198, where we will be covering all the events of Matchday 12 in Serie A.
Serie A is finally back after the international break. It was one of the international breaks that I enjoyed a little bit more, with obviously a lot of groups coming to the death and knowing a lot of countries are qualifying. For example, Curaçao have become the smallest nation ever to qualify for the World Cup, which is lovely to see. Our own Malta had a few really good performances, a victory over Finland in Teemu Pukki's last ever game for Finland, and also a really hard-fought 3-2 loss at home against Poland, Lewandowski's Poland.
Yes, the Maltese national team made the entire country very proud, and it's not every day or every international break rather that Maltese fans can feel optimistic or can actually celebrate anything.
Right.
We're not very used to it, so that was great.
Right, there's Schwaref, Teuma, Irving Cardona had a really good showing. Zach Muscat, Magri Overend, Gully, all absolutely amazing. Even Mainz at the back I particularly enjoyed.
Same here.
There was also, of course, not to mention, Troy Parrott became a national hero after getting a last-minute winner. He won the game against Portugal, and then he won the decisive game as well, scored a hat-trick.
A double and then a hat-trick, right?
A double and then a hat-trick, correct. McTominay scored the highest ever recorded overhead kick for Scotland in a decisive game, and then McLean scored from half pitch.
Yeah, crazy.
Against Denmark.
Crazy.
So it was a nice break, but we're back now, back covering the league that we love, really, the league that we're very passionate about. And we had the Derby della Madonnina, which will take up a large chunk of our time discussing, I'm sure. Milan won that 1-0 away from home due to a sole Christian Pulisic goal. Manyan, however, is the guy that everyone's talking about because he pulled off 3 spectacular saves, and the most decisive one actually came from the spot, saving Hakan Çalhanoğlu's penalty, which is very symbolic for Milan fans because it is Mike Maignan saving essentially Judas' penalty. So great moment for Milan fans, that is.
More to come on that, but essentially that derby does go down to the goalkeepers, because I'm pretty sure we'd be having a different conversation if Sommer and Maignan were on opposite teams.
Absolutely, 100%. We'll then move to Palladino's debut as Atalanta's manager. It was an absolute baptism of fire for him as he played against the league champions away from home in the Maradona and lost 3-1. Napoli got all the dirty work done in the first half, going 3-0 up, and then Atalanta with Scamacca on played some better football, albeit Napoli allowed them to. We'll then move to Fiorentina 1, Juve 1. I mean, there isn't a team in the league that Fiorentina hate more than Juve. They made that very known, a few racist chants towards their former player Dusan Vlahovic, which is obviously unacceptable. 2 gorgeous strikes in this game, one from Kostic and the other from Rolando Mandragora. Amazing game of football. Ken hit the crossbar. There was Vlahovic's penalty overturned quite... what's the word?
Controversially, yes. We will have our say on this event very soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Roma beat Cremonese 3-1 away from home. Roma scoring, Soler on the score sheet, Evan Ferguson on the score sheet. Amazing stuff.
Yeah. They're flying right after the break. Gasperini ball taking off. Is it a coincidence? I think not.
Definitely not. Udinese 0, Bologna 3. Hard stadium to go to, but Italiano and Bologna are flying now in 5th place. Only 2 losses so far this season. Bologna are looking really, really good. Orsolini did miss a penalty, but that's why you need a team and not just one player. Torino 1, Como 5.
You heard that correct.
You heard that correct. Torino aren't strangers to conceding 5 goals this season. They've already lost 5-0 to Inter, of course.
Yeah, to the absolute displeasure of the fans who were chanting, show us your balls at the end of the game.
Yes,
and basically saying, like, play with some passion. It's not acceptable to come to this stadium and score 5 goals against us. We are a historic team that deserves to do better.
Exactly, and of course the Cairo Vendere Vattene chants that have been around for around 2 years now. But Como, this was the ballad of Jesus Rodriguez. Assisted 2. I believe he scored as well. Jesus Rodriguez. No, it was 2 assists for him.
2 assists, right?
I believe so. This is my game. I should know. But definitely 2 assists. Gave away the penalty. Missed an absolute sitter. But what a performance it was. He was instrumental in this game. Lazio 2, Lecce 0. Very interesting goal by Guendouzi, and all around a clean performance by Lazio. I did think it would be a bit trickier. In fact, in our prediction series, which was very off the fly, I did predict a draw over here. There was a draw between Cagliari and Genoa, which was the most entertaining match this week for sure. 3-3. Amazing game of football. You're already starting to see De Rossi's influence on Genoa. Fearless attacking, high press. Cagliari, of course, love a goal, and Borelli scored 2 headers over here. That's exactly what they need, right?
He gives the vibe of a 90s provincial bomber, this Borelli.
Yeah.
The way he's got his long hair, clean look, who's wearing a long-sleeved kind of thermal shirt underneath. Celebrates by running to the fans regardless, absolutely wears his heart on his sleeve. He's not a young player by any means. He's 25 years old, but I think he's really hit the ground running after Bellotti's injury.
Absolutely, and I mean he's got a clear strength, so
yeah,
they play
his
to that
forehead.
strength. They've got him, they've got Yeremina, they've got a couple of big bodies in there, so that'll be pivotal for Cagliari. Haven't won a game in a while now. Sassuolo 2, Pisa 2. It was a great goal by Nemanja Matic, a great goal by Meister, and it was down to the wire this game as Sassuolo got the equalizer quite late on. Great game of football by 2 newly promoted teams, and Verona 1, Parma 2. That is Parma's 2nd win of the season. Verona still winless. Pellegrino with another doppietta over there. He's looking amazing. The Bombers looked great this week.
They did, especially the baby Bombers and the provincial ones. This is probably a good segue to our goal of the week, which should have been a tough one because there were so many great goals, but one goal just stood out. So just to run you through quickly, Kostic's goal against Fiorentina was excellent. Mandragora's goal against Juve was absolutely unbelievable. Scamacca's goal against Napoli was interesting. It was a lovely kind of volley. It was a volley. The ball was behind him actually, and the way he jumped in the air and angled himself was expertly done, to be honest.
Started the move as well.
Yeah. So Sule had a lovely goal against Cremonese. Matic scored a volley against Pisa as well, and Meister scored a lovely solo goal against Sassuolo where he cut inside. The shot took a bit of a deflection, but the dirty work was all done very well.
Yeah.
But of course the winner undoubtedly is Mandragora, right, for his rocket.
Mandragora, brilliant goal, a fantastic goal by him. Nick, I believe you have the clip of the person that we believe is a doppelganger of Mandragora, and we posted it on socials as well.
Yeah,
we'll
give us
Nick
a scream.
Yeah, Nick is upset. That's why there's some extra rasp in his voice because United failed to beat 10-man Everton after
Not talk about it.
Idrissa Gana Gay got sent off for slapping Keane because Keane was caught
Idrissa Gana
sleeping.
Gay and get it on, huh? And excuse my brother's voice over here, my brother and co-host, as he's a little bit under the weather.
Yes. Hey guys,
He's
I
sick
hope
and
I'm
tired
not
of beating Inter.
I just saw the clip come up.
Yeah, you did.
I did.
It's
I got
uncanny. This guy looks exactly like Mandragora. Look at him.
that. There he is, about to fuck.
It's not done.
sorry.
It's not done.
No
Be a
worries.
bit patient with Nick, guys. He's on his final warning.
Still in his probation.
Yeah.
There we
There
are.
we are.
There's
There he is.
Rolando
There he is.
getting
This,
ready for the second half.
In half time. Is it playing? Is it frozen?
No worries. This is a good
That's him, yeah,
promotion
For our Instagram.
for our Instagram. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube.
Yes.
Um,
Rate
and
us. Leave a
but
review.
that is literally
Yeah,
Mandragora,
that's
man.
yeah, you
Insane.
can go check it out on Instagram. It's fine.
Exactly.
Technical issues today seem to be the topic of the day for us.
Absolutely. Brother, we have some midweek action.
We do. We've got European action happening today. Today being Tuesday. What's the date exactly, brother, please?
The 25th of November.
It is Tuesday the 25th, and Juve are travelling to take on Bodo Glimt.
Tricky one.
A very, very, very tricky game. The conditions are terrible today. Pictures were posted and it's completely icy. Of course, we all know about the synthetic turf over there. So it's going to be a very tricky game for Juve. A double or a win or draw for Bodo Glimt might be a good move
on the
over
cards.
there, yes.
We all know what Bodo did to Lazio. They creamed them. They creamed Roma as well. And it's literally like you have...
they had given Milan a hard time as well back in the day when Hauge was bought.
The way they play is like a futsal team playing indoor football. The ball rolls so rapidly and it's hard for Serie A teams to adapt to that.
Yeah. Napoli host Arabag. Don't know too much about them personally. I don't know if you happen to have a fun fact about Arabag.
No. Just Ara means bald in Maltese. And bag is bag.
Yes, bald bag. And tomorrow, of course, Atalanta will be travelling to Germany to take on Frankfurt, while Inter will travel to Spain to take on Atletico Madrid.
What a game.
Two crackers over there. While on Thursday, we have a triple whammy with Roma hosting Midtjylland, while Bologna hosts Salzburg and Fiorentina host AEK Athens in the Conference League.
Yes, without getting into it too much, brother, we also did our prediction series last week. Let's just tell the guys.
Yeah, let's just tell them the score.
5-4.
Yes, it was 5-4 for our predictions. If you would like to know the exact nature of the predictions, you can check out the end of last episode. But this is something that we will be doing more regularly. So currently, as it stands, Jake 1, Matt 0.
Yeah, stay tuned till the end if you want to see our predictions for next weekend. Of course, there are huge games like Roma, Napoli and the likes. So, before we get into this episode, guys, our media partners, BenevoBid, check out our link in bio to bid on autographed items from top players, including match-issued kits. It's the festive season, get someone something nice, and also give back to charity. This is for a local charity where most of the proceeds go there. It's called Puttino Cares. He's the one person that always cares. Puttino. It's mainly for cancer research and the like, so you'll be doing something great whilst also sporting some sick Serie A merch. Also, check out their socials because you get to see the authenticity behind it all, because you get to see the actual players signing the kits themselves.
Yeah.
If you're new here, follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter and YouTube, and rate us 5 stars on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts, with weekly episodes covering every single match, every single team, every single week, and even have bonus tactics episodes called Tactics Imperium by our football analyst Gianluca Lia, so check them out as well on our Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. If you really love us, become a patron. It's $3.99 a month and you'll be added to a Discord channel with 50 plus like-minded legends with multiple channels for different discussions, and you can win a free kit if you win our fantasy league. Yes. Right now, Inter Your Mom are still first. That is, of course, David Vavra. Oh, you've got them open. Amazing.
Yeah. We have SSC Dries Nuts still in second with Catenaccio Mi Maxi in third. US Salernitanga over there making an appearance in fourth. And my sick co-host over here, Zanetti's asshole, in 5th. I have also climbed, fun fact, I've had a few good weeks. I'm in 19th now.
19th? Look at you,
look
bro.
at that. And I found out 12 match days into the season and 5 years after playing Fantacalcio that it actually shows you who had the best weeks.
Oh, wow.
Over here. So, Di actually had the best week.
Hit
this
the Quan.
He got 86.5 points. Massive. Followed by Giordano, Catenaccio Mi Maxi, of course, that's Alan. Nick is in fourth with 80.5 points. He outdid me and I was really happy with my week. I had like 4 goals and Nick beat me. I'm Saponara Seaman, of course, 79.5 points. Tyson and Zeman also with 79.5 points. With Banda. Banda,
fuck yeah, Berna got you a goal, huh?
Double B's, baby.
Hell yeah. Brother, tell us all about the Derby della Madonnina.
So, the Derby della Madonnina. What a match. The stakes were so high. Inter were technically the home team. However, the sounds from the stadium
suggested
otherwise. Exactly, thank you. So for Inter it was a 3-5-2 formation with Sommer in goal, Bastoni, Acerbi and Akanji at the back, with DeMarco out wide on the left and Carlos Augusto replacing Dumfries, who was not available for this match, on the right. Sucic, Çalhanoğlu and Barella were in the middle. Of course, Mkhitaryan is still out injured as well, while Lautaro Martinez and Thuram partnered together up front. For Milan, it was Magic Mike the Eagle Manyan in goal, in a 3-5-2 formation with Tomori, Gabbia and Pavlovic at the back. Screams continuity, very nice. Salamakers on the right, Bartezaghi on the left, chosen over Stupinian, who I believe was available for this game.
Yes,
so
he
it was
was.
a technical decision. Very interesting to see, very nice to see, to be honest. And I like this guy the more I watch him. Rabiot, Modric and Fofana were in the middle, with Leao and Pulisic starting together as two atypical strikers up front. Now, the decisive moment of the game came in the second half, actually, when Milan struck via a counter-attack. Fofana recovered possession. He played Salamakers in, who shot. At first, it seemed to be a little bit foolish, it seemed to be the wrong decision to have a crack from there, in my opinion, especially with the Milan players catching up. There was Leao, Fofana coming in behind. At first, when he shot, it rubbed me the wrong way. I was thinking, wait for the runners, try something else, use your head. But it turned out to be absolutely perfect. He went low and hard, forcing Sommer to dive, and Sommer just ends up palming it into the path of Pulisic, essentially giving him the perfect assist. And Pulisic, of course, pounced and scored the rebound. That is Pulisic's third goal against Inter in this derby.
Yeah, and Pulisic is a big game player, bro. I mean, you look at the goals that he scored. He had great performances against Real. I believe he had scored as well. He had scored against Liverpool. He scored against Bologna. He's a big game player, of course. He missed that penalty against Juve, and I feel like ever since then he hasn't put a foot wrong in a Milan shirt, barring that one miss he had against Pisa.
Yeah, we'll get to his numbers very soon, because I have a few interesting stats about Pulisic and how important he has been for Milan. But then in the 71st minute there was some drama and a bit of a scare for Milan, as Pavlovic stomped Thuram in a follow-through after Thuram had kicked the ball out of play, essentially. It was one of those follow-throughs that was a little bit harsh, but he did end up stomping on Thuram, and it was the right call in the end to award this penalty. The penalty was actually taken in the 74th minute. Hakan Çalhanoğlu stepped up, and he didn't look confident in the slightest, in my opinion. His body language was very unlike him. Normally when he steps up, he looks sure. He has the devil in his eyes usually when he takes a penalty, Çalhanoğlu.
Yeah.
And I believe he had only ever missed one prior to this one.
He had.
And I'm not sure how many he's taken, but it's quite a few.
Well, in his last 5, he missed one.
Yeah.
And I believe before that, I think he's on a run of like 20.
Yeah, something
he had
like
only
that.
missed one. It's
Something
crazy.
like that.
But it's interesting you say, yes, he looked a bit off going up to take the penalty. I feel like Manyan noticed that. He smelled blood. Got into his face, spread his arms open like I'm fucking ready for you, and then stood to the left, showing
slightly
Hakan
off center
onto his favourite side to take a penalty, and he stood there up until the ball was struck, man, completely inviting Hakan to go that way.
It was brilliant goalkeeping, to be honest, and even more impressive than the save somehow was the follow-through. When the ball was loose, Çalhanoğlu was charging for it, and Manyan just bodies Çalhanoğlu and smacks the ball out to safety.
That's
for a corner.
A page out of Giroud's book in goal.
I remember against Genoa.
Yeah.
That was brilliant. I thought the referee was gonna call for a retake. I thought Manyan might have stepped on his line because he did touch his ear after it was taken, but nothing of the sort happened, and Milan actually ended up seeing the game out. It was a very good display by Milan. Manyan made some fantastic saves throughout the game, bro. Match-winning saves. He was the man of the match by far.
By far. There was in the opening moments, Thuram, I was quite sure he manhandled Gabbia and got a very impressive, powerful header away. He had his back towards goal. It was unbelievable how he wrapped himself around Gabbia and generated that power. Manyan got down super, super well and pulled off a fantastic save. And then later on, there was Lautaro Martinez in his favoured area, really, almost at the penalty spot, got a good shot away into the bottom corner, and once again, Mike Manyan there gets down super well And then after that, he saves the penalty. I mean, it's a standout performance. It's one of the best goalkeeping performances that I've seen. And I've seen Alisson Becker against PSG. I've seen Courtois in the Champions League final.
Henry Bonello against Finland.
But this was... I was telling Jake, this is me with my Milan hat on, give him the 8 million, because he saved Çalhanoğlu's penalty. The post-nut clarity is there, but
the post-nut clarity is there, I was going to say, because it's I don't think it should be the case. Now, I know that fans say, why do you give a shit about the finances? It's not like it's coming out of your pocket, right? But it's always disruptive when your highest earner is a goalkeeper. Because then the top scorers, the creative players, the star players, the flashy ones can easily demand those figures.
It's literally disruptive. It's less that he's a goalkeeper, and it's more that Milan don't pay those wages.
And the principle stands from back in the Donnarumma days. The reason Milan didn't renew Donnarumma was because of this. He wanted too much money, and Milan stood their ground and let him go on a free. It's just naive that the same mistake was made and it was left so late.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, fuck it. It is the situation. It was handled badly from Milan. If Manjan believes he should be making more money, fair enough. Power to him. You know. But at the end of the day, Manjan just won Milan the derby single-handedly, pretty much. And like he posted on Instagram, I am the most loved I will ever be right now, and I genuinely believe that. I genuinely believe that Manjan is. I don't think he has to pay for anything ever again in Milan.
Unless he's in Zanetti's cafe, bro. If he's at Zanetti's cafe, he's paying double. That's for sure.
Yes, of course. So the way the game went, it saw Inter dominate large portions of the game. Now, of course, this was the game plan, and this is what we expected to see, right, with Allegri containing. But I did think that Inter played really well. However, it does stand, bro, that in the direct encounters right now, they're not winning. And in fact, they're not even drawing. They're losing. They're losing every direct encounter, and that's a massive red flag, no?
Yeah, I think they had a big victory against Roma with that one Boni goal, but otherwise they've lost to Napoli, they've lost to Juve, and they've lost to Milan, and they also lost to Udinese, so that's 4 losses so far this season. But it's more the head-to-head that I am concerned about for Inter, obviously. Whilst the majority of the matches aren't these top teams, it sets a precedent. It creates a sense of unity when you win a derby, for example, and it creates rhythm and it creates form. These are the big games you have to win to create the sense of togetherness for the team. And also, I mean, they're 6-pointers. You have to win these 6-pointers. When you give those 3 points up, you're giving 3 points to someone else. So if you keep losing these 6-pointers, I don't think you have a shout to win the league.
Yeah, you end up getting shoved under. That's the problem, right?
Yeah.
And this is kind of like what we discussed during the hiring stage of Kivu, because the team, Inter, is good enough to win games where they're just better.
Yeah.
Quality-wise on the pitch. However, when it actually comes to facing a seasoned veteran like Allegri or Conte, you are at a clear disadvantage, right? Now, I know it's harsh because there wasn't much more than Kivu could do in the setup, you know? I mean, he set his team up to succeed. They had very good chances, and those 3 saves that Manjan made, and they even had the penalty, right? So they will feel hard done by. But Allegri, you know...
This is what
you would have always
given
him a chance against Kivu.
Yeah,
this is
what
favorite.
we always talk about. I mean, Inter fans and the likes can't complain that they were the better team in the game. They felt like they had the better chances, etc. What we always say is that what Milan need at this stage is someone that is going to win them games despite them not being the better team. And even that I'm unsure of when we say Milan weren't the better team, because Milan executed their game plan. Their game plan is to absorb the pressure and hit on the break. Milan's goal came from a counter-attack, and Inter's clear-cut chances, which were 3 of them, were expertly saved by the goalkeeper, who is part of the team. Just like Sommer is a part of the team for Inter. So outcasting one of the players is obviously referencing the team still.
Yes.
Milan are stronger in that regard. They have a better goalkeeper. Inter still have Sommer. Now, Inter have been hard done by, because I feel like they set it up well, where Sommer was slowly handing the baton over to Josip Martinez, who was an excellent goalkeeper, but he's currently unavailable because of off-field issues,
Yes,
right?
yes,
So
yes.
it means that they're stuck with Sommer, who hasn't had a great season thus far.
Yes, for those of you who are not aware about the nature of the off-field issues, of course, he was involved in a traffic incident where he essentially ran over fatally an old man. And there's a bit of trauma over there, I would imagine.
He's
and
still on
there's-
the bench, but I'd imagine this is why he isn't playing, right?
I assume so. They're giving him some time to
Grieve,
to
essentially.
grieve, to handle the situation. Yes. Some moments that I have written over here in the derby, I feel like they need to be highlighted. Excuse my Michael Jackson over there, but I'm a little bit passionate about them because the second the game started, it just seemed like there was a bit of a nonchalant approach to the game from the referee. You know, a little bit of a
Completely agree.
no problem. You know.
Yeah. Buddy with everyone.
Yeah, buddy with everyone. 4 minutes in, I don't even know if it was 4, it might have been earlier. Lautaro elbows Gabbia in the face. Now I know they were jumping, whatever, it might have not been intentional, but the fact that you don't even get a yellow card for that is not a good sign. Power to Gabbia because he was bleeding. He ended up putting a piece of something in his nose.
tampon.
There's the tampon up his nose to stop the bleeding.
Yeah.
And he ended up playing the whole game like a hero, man. Gabbia is when it comes to a
Warrior.
player who has matured and who has really shouldered the responsibility of what it means to play for Milan, it is Gabbia.
Yeah, we're not saying red card, but that's a
No,
yellow.
it's at
That's a
least-
yellow.
Yeah.
Because that's what we're doing now. We're striking
just-
people in the face. Sure.
I've seen people sent off for less, but
Far
whatever.
less.
Let's just say that. So that was incident number 1. Incident number 2 was Cherby using the dark arts, pulling on Leao's hair, and we did see an angle where he was clearly pulling at Leao's hair. Now, in the rules nowadays, that is under the category of assault, right?
Yes.
And it's an instant red card.
Yes.
Pulling someone's hair.
That's a red. That's
It
a
is
red.
right, and you can see on the one side, you know, it just shows what a professional Cherby is because he's so street smart. He knew exactly how to get away with it. It was so disguised. He pressed his body against Leao's and pulled like right between where the
Exactly.
cameras could barely get it. But angles have shown now that like he clearly pulled his hair and Leao
But we
was
saw
furious
it.
after.
If we saw it from the replay,
Then
how
surely
doesn't
the
VAR
VAR should
see
have
it
seen
with
it,
all
exactly.
the additional angles that
Yes.
they have? That
Yes.
bothers me.
Now, the most bizarre of them all was Kivu
Oh my god.
running from his technical area and blocking Rabiot's throw-in while Milan were on the break about the counter from a throw-in. All the players were rushing forward. Kivu puts his hand up like this, like to apologize to the referee. The referee puts his hand up, gives him a thumbs up and smiles it off.
He slaps Rabiot on the ass like
What?
no worries, champ. But
What
he,
are we doing here?
man, like that. The fact that Kivu didn't get a yellow card for that. Now that for me, I don't know the rules of this kind of obstruction with the ref, etc. From the manager, etc.
That's
But
a red card word,
that's
you
a
know.
red. If
Again.
you can't behave on the touchline without interfering with play, then go watch the game from the stands.
Yeah.
And this isn't Milan fan Matt talking. This is we saw it in Mourinho tackle Ollie Mers in a charity
On
match.
Twitter, maybe.
But no, ridiculous behavior by Kivu over there, unprofessional, and he should have been sent to the stands immediately.
Yeah, and then Leao gets a yellow card
Mm-hmm.
for Barella diving. But it just, I'm sure there were incidents that would have gone the other way as well. Of course, I was watching as a fan, to be honest, and these were just moments that stuck out to me, and I felt the need to address them. So if you did notice any incidents that went the other way, I just think it was a terrible day in the office from the referee. Please do
Absolutely.
drop them in the comments below, please. We are all for an open-minded discussion
Yes.
over here.
Also, by the rules, the penalty is a penalty. Just it is
Yeah.
a game's gone penalty.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with the fact that was a penalty. It was a penalty, but it is a game's gone penalty because that is a sporting incident. That is Thuram putting in a cross, sending it out for a throw-in, and as the defender's trying to block, I don't get this Pavlovic. Oh, that was clumsy. That was whatever. He went to block the cross. And when he was going down, his foot landed on the leg of the opponent. Now Thuram made a meal of it. He stayed down. He was fine, of course. He did well over there, Thuram, to win the penalty.
Of course.
But that's a game's gone. penalty. Inter didn't get a red card against Hellas Verona because even though Giovanni was clean through. His first touch was sending the ball out for a throw-in.
Yes.
They didn't get
but
sent
that's
off
a bit of a
for
different
it. It's
situation.
different,
yes.
but if the ball isn't heading into a goal-scoring situation or the ball literally goes out of play, then I disagree with the rule
with
itself.
the rule more
you know?
than. But as the rule stands, that is a penalty, of course, and there's no denying it.
No.
But just as you said, it feels a little bit redundant because the ball was going out, so there was absolutely no danger whatsoever, and Pavlovic didn't actually impede anything. But at the end of the day, it was dangerous play, and I guess the whole aspect of this, maybe the whole point of this, is to protect the player, maybe more than anything else.
Yeah.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Check out my bottle opener in honor of Pulisic over here. I've got the President of the United States of America,
you
Donald
should-
Trump, a
you
very
should get
divisive figure. This has nothing to do with my political beliefs. I just thought it was a really funny little
Yeah.
thing.
I'm getting him a Mamdani one soon, guys. Okay, it doesn't work very well, Trump, clearly. But yeah.
What do you mean? This is the best.
Yeah, Christian Pulisic, absolutely love him.
The best soccer player.
He has become a huge, big game player for me.
Yes, and have we read out the stats? And I believe not, right?
No.
Yes, so speaking of Pulisic, while we're on the topic, thanks to my bottle opener, perfect transition. We have goal involvements in the last 3 seasons across Serie A for active players, right? Well, not even for active players, just in general, right? So we have in first place, Pulisic and Lautaro are tied with 48 goal involvements. In second place, there's Thuram and Retegui with 42, and in third place, there's Lukaku with 40. So it just goes to show what a big game player Pulisic is, and what an output player he is more than anything else, because he's not flashy, but he's always contributing. He's a real moneyball player.
Yeah. And I mean, these goals that he's scoring as well. So this was a tap-in, right? I feel like Salamakers did well to force the save out of Sommer to get a shot away. The way that he did was brilliant. But Pulisic there, it just reminds me, like, okay, Milan don't have a clear number 9. But that's an Inzaghi goal.
Yeah,
you know, he picks
poacher,
up the
a poacher's
scraps. He has become a real poacher, man.
But the
Pulisic.
movement is so clever. I mean,
It is. It's fantastic.
yeah, and I wonder if Salamaker's shot was intentional or if it was an impulsive shot.
I'd say so.
You'd say it's
Yeah,
it's
I think
intentional,
it's a dragged shot across the face of goal.
'cause,
But with more goals were-
Sommer reacts a little bit slowly, right?
perhaps.
Yeah. Pulisic in big games for Milan, right? 3 goals against Inter, a goal and 2 assists against Napoli, 2 goals and an assist against Bologna, a goal and an assist against Lazio, a goal against Juve, a goal against Liverpool, a goal against Newcastle, an assist against Atalanta, and an assist against Real Madrid. Big game player.
Christian
The
Pulisic.
biggest games Milan have played in the past few years.
Exactly. There's an argument to be made that he's the best player Milan have.
Yes. Let us know what you think, and while you're at it, fuck up the like button, man. Fuck it up, alright? I'm tired of seeing the like button not fucked up.
Yeah.
Fuck it up.
Fuck it up, guys. Fuck it up. Is there
Anyway.
anything we need to add about this game?
I just want to mention one more thing, and that is Bartesaghi. Because
yes.
while I wasn't sure about Bartesaghi going into the season, and I thought that bringing in a Stupinian without a backup was foolish by the management, Bartesaghi has stepped up and exceeded all of my expectations. He is very good going forward. His crosses are decent, to be honest, and the way he defends the area when crosses are coming in is very, very good. And dare I say, and it's not even a hot take at this point, it's obvious if you watch the game, it's a breath of fresh air after having Theo Hernandez defending, and especially last season when Theo Hernandez was so lackadaisical in defense, you know, and so passive. Having someone who manages to clear absolutely every cross that comes in the box out to safety is a breath of fresh air in my opinion.
Absolutely. And I think Milan have replaced that Teo effect pretty well by using Pavlovic in that area as well, teaming up with Bartesaghi. Jake just spilled his beer. No, but Bartesaghi, he's what Milan need, right? Milan need a mix of youth and a mix of experience. He's someone that came through the ranks, knows what it means to be a Milan player. This is the pinnacle of his career, being a Milan player in his eyes, because he's a young homegrown player. And he wears that responsibility with confidence, with passion, and man, a 7.2 rating on SofaScore. I barely noticed Carlos Augusto on the pitch. I
Yeah,
thought
yeah,
Bartesaghi
yeah.
was clean as ever.
Yeah.
With that being said, massive shout out to Fofana, who of course is clumsy. He had a large part to play in the goal, and there is a certain element of physicality he brings to that midfield alongside Rabiot that really kind of makes Milan this physical team that fights for every ball. I said, I think this is the best midfield Milan can line up with. And you said perhaps Ricci would be nicer. Whilst I agree, I think Fofana does bring
He does
this
a lot of dirty
physical
work,
presence and does a lot of dirty work. Case in point for the goal. And I thought Sucic was probably Inter's best player. I thought he was
good.
fantastic, Sucic.
He was good and very dangerous, and the way he allows himself to have space is quite scary with those shimmies and the fake shots.
Yeah.
While we're talking about players who seem to have more time on the ball, Rabiot, man, has come in almost. It's almost as if him and Modric have had similar careers, but it's really not the case. Like Rabiot is nowhere near the level of Modric, of course, and nowhere near as decorated. But Rabiot plays with such authority, and there's a reason Milan have never lost with Rabiot on the pitch, right? He's got some aura about him. It has to be said. He's very, very good.
He the way he drives the ball forward, he's a horse. A horse with the best technique ever. The way that he charges but doesn't lose the ball is great. And the fact that, and I'll keep driving this point home, he came to Milan, was at his best immediately, and hasn't dipped. It's as simple as that. That is incredibly impressive.
Like,
everyone needs warm-up time. He doesn't. It helps that there's Allegri. It helps that it's a familiar league. But I'm in awe of Rabiot.
Rabiot. Pace, power, precision.
The 3 Ps.
The 3 Ps.
Exactly.
Percocets.
Molly Percocets.
Yes, and I believe that is all. I don't think we are leaving anything out, brother.
Just again, massive shout out to Mike Manyan and Milan fans. I'm speaking to you. Is that a top moment? Do you rank that as one of the best moments ever? Seeing Çalhanoğlu miss a penalty in the derby.
Euphoric.
Anyway, let's jump to game number 2. We've got Napoli 3, Atalanta 1. Of course, Napoli were coming off a 2-0 loss to Bologna, and they missed Kevin De Bruyne, Lukaku, Gilmour, Anguissa and Spinazzola. Injury crisis, and they hadn't scored in 3 games, including the Champions League. Atalanta were coming off a 3-0 home loss to Sassuolo, and this marks their 3rd loss and 8 winless in a row. This is Palladino's first match in charge, and no noteworthy absentees for the side apart from Scalvini. Napoli lined up in a 3-4-3 formation with Vanya in goal. Of course, this is different to the typical formation that Conte has been going with, kind of this obscure 4-3-3. So he went for a 3-4-3. Vanya in goal, backline of Buongiorno, Rahmani and Beukema. Gutierrez was on the left, Di Lorenzo on the right, double pivot of McTominay and Lobotka, with Lang and Neres flanking Højlund. For Atalanta, it was a 3-4-1-2 formation, Carnesecchi in goal, backline of Berat, Jimcity, Isaac Hien and Honest Ahanor. Bellanova was on the right, Zappacosta on the left, double pivot of Derone and Ederson, with Pasalic playing behind the Ketelare and Lukman. The first goal was scored by David Neres in the 16th minute after Højlund played a clever first-time pass. Neres beat Ahanor for pace and finished cleanly. That put Napoli 1-0 up. In the 38th, Neres got his second goal of the night. Napoli's press forced Carnesecchi into a rushed, inaccurate pass. Rahmani intercepted, McTominay threaded a vertical pass, and Neres finished again, making it 2-0. On the stroke of half-time, Lang put the cherry on top of the cake after he converted a cross from Di Lorenzo, which he headed in, making it Napoli 3, Atalanta 0 just before the half-time whistle. Atalanta did make changes. They brought on Scamacca, who was recently out injured. Finally, they had a reference point. They had someone, when Carnesecchi does play those balls forward, someone actually wins the ball. And with Atalanta's first serious chance, Scamacca turned in Bellanova's cross after starting the attack himself, but that was all Atalanta could do. Now, for me, it's clear Napoli made an adjustment. I feel like they did have to make an adjustment. It was when he returned to the 3-4-2-1/3-4-3 formation, which fluidly morphed into this 4-2-3-1 or even 4-3-2-1 formation. He played with a high defensive line of Beukema, Rahmani and Buongiorno. And the fact that Neres and Lang operated in half spaces behind Højlund, and Højlund could be used to actually link up play
It
with...
was a great out ball at Højlund this game. That first goal just shows it perfectly. The weight on that pass was perfect to play Neres through, man.
Absolutely.
Wow, like...
And it was, for me, Conte saw, okay, this is Palladino's first match in charge.
Mhm.
He knows that Palladino likes to try to control possession and build the ball up from the back slowly and really feel out the opponent. And since this was the first match with Palladino, Conte was like, you know what? We're going 3 men up top. Press the living fuck out of every defender, out of the goalkeeper, and don't let them breathe.
Yeah.
And it was from 2 Onestahanor mistakes. From the wayward clearance by Carnesecchi that Napoli managed to get their success. But they also went man for man though, and that's what really interested me. It was this really coordinated press. Rahmani, Lobatkan, McTominay were on Ederson, Verona and Pasalic, Neres on Ahanor, Højlund on Hien, and they forced these mistakes. They rushed play, and they won all their duels. I mean, 9 aerial duels won for Napoli. 67% of their tackles succeeded to Atalanta's 50%. They dominated in dribbles as well, and that is likely because they used those wingers with Lang and Neres that were cutting in quite a lot. In XG, they dominated 0.91 to 0.18. 0.18. Atalanta, at least in the first half, didn't have time to breathe, man.
Not at all. And there are many reasons for it. I mean, first of all, the formation must have caught them off guard. Because all of a sudden, Conte's fielding the players, he said, I'm not even sure what the exact quote was, but he kind of put a shadow of doubt over them, a cloud of doubt rather, over Noah Lang and Neres, you know, like, and suddenly they're both starting in a 3-4-3, and you've got McTominay in the pivot. So there's a whole lot of pace and power coming from quite deep. Di Lorenzo was playing as a wing back, and he actually played really well, in my opinion. I really liked the game he played. That cross at the end, especially,
amazing.
Yeah. But I thought it was extremely typical of Conte to target the clear weak link of the team. Yeah. In Ahanor, let's keep in mind that Honest Ahanor is only 17 years old. He's only a kid. So that was clearly a game plan over there to press high and instill chaos and to force panic from Atalanta, who are following new instructions for the first time, while he's setting loose Noah Lang and Neres against these young ones who are playing a little bit too high probably now. Yeah, and of course it's also the formation is also a result of the absentees, right? Yeah. Because Gilmore wasn't available, Anguissa wasn't available, KDB still isn't available, so they had to go for the pivot. But I don't think this is the way that Napoli are going to set up moving forward. I thought that it was a good opportunity for them to go for this strategy, but I don't see, for example, Lobotka and McTominay as a double pivot against the bigger teams. Against Inter, for example, with their midfield, or against Milan with their midfield, I think that gets chewed up, especially with the amount of forward runs McTominay likes to make and the lack of physicality that Lobotka offers. So I think Conte prepares a lot for the team in front of him, and I think he did that very well. I agree. Atalanta got better in the second half. But was that more because of Scamacca coming on, or more because Napoli allowed them the space and the time on the ball because the job had already basically been done? So that played a big part, right? Napoli were like, we got the 3 goals, let's sit back and let's manage our fitness. We have Champions League coming up. When you're 3-0 up, I feel like you do think of the fixture coming up and you play accordingly. Of course. However, with that being said, there was a clear difference when Scamacca came on because they had a focal point, and that focal point would have been there even if Napoli were playing their football. Actually, it would have helped them a lot in the first half with that Carnesecchi ball up. You can't really bank on Lookman or CDK to win that. Now, of course, CDK has size, but he doesn't have that aggressiveness that Scamacca has. Yeah. Scamacca would have won that ball that Carnesecchi played, for example. He would have gotten to some of those balls that maybe Lookman didn't get to, or that CDK didn't get to. And it's not that Scamacca is even the strongest player in the world, because he's quite lanky, but he is better aerially than CDK. CDK is a little bit passive in the air. He's easily jostled off the ball, definitely. I don't know if it's maybe kind of fight thing and a natural fight thing, because I think the Ketelar would weigh more than Scamacca, right?
But I have no idea.
Just guess, from looking at
them. That's a
them.
great question. I'd say they're incredibly similar.
They're quite
in that
similar,
sense.
right? But Scamacca's quite lanky for his size. But he is more.
But he has that
aerially.
Zlatan kind of like aggressiveness.
He's agile
and that,
as well.
and that like bad boy strength, which CDK.
Bad boy
I mean, look,
strength.
put CDK next to Scamacca. Who would you like to see in an alleyway at 2:00 in the morning? CDK, he'll offer you a lollipop. Scamacca will.
What if you're a kid? You wouldn't want to see CDK.
That's true. But it did fill me with confidence for Atalanta, seeing that second half for them. It's too early to judge them. It was an absolute baptism of fire, so I won't be doing too much of that. Napoli, on the other hand, they did seem to come up with use for these new players, because it didn't seem like they were finding much use for Neres and Lang, and we always criticize Napoli for being a bit of a slower team in transition, but the fact that they had Neres and Lang here operating quite close to Højlund and between those lines, that added this pace and aggressiveness that Napoli have lacked in the past. And this is because they have such a deep squad, they can have multiple solutions for multiple problems, at least in the forward line.
Yeah, and Noah Lang was by far the furthest player forward. Look at that. So we had Neres and Højlund playing pretty much right next to each other, and then Noah Lang pushing forward as forward as he possibly can.
Yeah.
While Atalanta were quite pinned back, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Yes, bro. It also rubs me the wrong way seeing Lookman.
Absolutely.
I hate when you have a player who's obviously not committed to the cause. And I feel that's the case with Lookman, and it can't be more public, to be honest, than that. We know the player doesn't want to be there. He's tried to force his way out twice, and it's just shocking, to be honest, that he's still there and he's still playing and they haven't cashed in on him.
Yeah, it was completely mishandled from Atalanta's end from start to finish.
I mean, I don't blame them for not wanting to sell to Inter.
That for sure.
Yeah.
I think there was the PSG link, but I think that was in January and it wasn't a good opportunity for them to sell. It's interesting how Inter were the only team interested in him throughout the summer. I get that they don't want to sell him to a rival. But I do plea for more professionality in that sense. I mean,
from who?
From Lookman.
He's contract bound.
He's contract bound. That's the thing. Now, I don't blame him if his head isn't there. You can't force a reaction out of someone when you've put him with Gasperini, who he had many a heated exchange with Gasperini publicly calling him out after he missed a penalty. You replace Gasperini with Juric is grabbing him by the throat in front of the entire stadium.
Bad.
And now it's Palladino's first game. Hopefully he can warm up to Palladino, but you know what I see, you know what I think? He's out in January for half the asking price they're asking for in summer.
Most probably.
That's what I see happening, because that's what happens when you get a little bit greedy with your assets, man. Because I think it was mishandled from both ends. I didn't like how Atalanta went about it completely either.
Absolutely, bro. I can't wait to see more of Scamacca. That's all I'm going to say. Because he is a striker that he's got that special something about him, doesn't he? When it comes to flair and the ability the innate ability to improvise in a situation like that where a ball is coming and you have to maneuver your body in a certain way. He will do anything. He'll move his leg anywhere.
Yeah.
He isn't afraid to shoot in any way possible.
I will remember him at Sassuolo. I believe he scored a goal against Milan once.
The cracker,
he just
right? From
turned and shot from like 30 yards out. I mean, and even his improvisational ability in the box, the fact that he'll hit an overhead kick out of nowhere, he'll go for a shot instead of a pass and then pull it off completely. He is streaky and there is a bit of an attitude to him, but when he's in the right environment,
an attitude to him. I'm not sure if I agree with that.
That's true. I'm probably judging him based on his appearance,
looks, right?
And his grandfather. For those of you that don't know, his grandfather had like fucked up every car in a car park. Was it his grandfather? His father? I think his grandfather was caught with a knife in a bar, and his father had fucked up the cars in a car park. Yes, but he's the tough guy.
Distanced himself from his relatives from that side of the family.
Respect, Scammy.
And the media.
Respect.
He's a good boy, Scamacca.
We're here rooting for Scammy. That's for sure. On to the next, brother.
Yes, please.
It's yours.
Is it?
I mean, obviously we do. We do one each, no?
Whoops. Where are my notes? One sec. I've got to go on my emails to get my notes. That's me now. That's what a boomer I've become. Because I did it on my laptop and sent it to my iPad. Okay, here we are. So, we have Fiorentina 1, Juventus 1. A game that historically has become somewhat of a rivalry, of course, with all the players who have left Fiorentina to go to Juventus. And it's crazy. It seems like all of Fiorentina's best players do end up at Juventus in the future.
Yeah.
So the fans have this burning hatred towards Juve and towards any of their players who have left them to go to Juventus, particularly Dusan Vlahovic. And as Matthew said in the intro, this game was actually marred by racist chants. And there were moments as well when Ranieri is telling the crowd, like, listen, be quiet. Like, this isn't cool.
The fuck are you doing?
What are you doing? Yeah.
Stupid.
Literally, we're the people of Florence. You're giving us a bad representation. You know, they're meant to be a sophisticated people. But anyway, so De Gea was in goal for Fiorentina in a 3-5-2 formation with Ranieri, Mari, and Pongracic at the back, with Parisi and Dodo out on the flanks, with Simon Som, Fagioli, and Mandragora in the middle, Keane and Piccoli up front. Do remember that Vanoli is now in charge of this team. For Juve, it was Di Gregorio in goal with Kalulu, Kelly and Coop Miners at the back. Spalletti continuing with the 3 at the back formation and once again playing Coop Miners as a defender. Cambiaso on the right, Kostic on the left after he had scored his first in the first game under Spalletti, with Thuram and Locatelli in the middle, McKennie and Yildiz playing off the shoulders of Dusan Vlahovic. Do remember that Kwame, Lamptey and Gosens were out for Fiorentina, while Bremer, Pinsoglio, Milik and Rugani were out for Juve, as usual.
Milik, man.
Yeah, Milik.
Who?
So early in the match, Juve were awarded a penalty after a foul on Vlahovic. Christ. Early in the match, Juve were awarded a penalty after a foul on Vlahovic, but VAR overturned it. There was contact outside the box, but the contact in the box seemed to be from both players on each other. This was quite a controversial situation because from the first angle that we saw, it looked like a clear penalty, right? But then you notice upon close inspection that Vlahovic actually had a handful of the defender's shirt, of Mari's shirt, before Mari even initiated contact with Vlahovic, right?
Yeah, and in the box, you clearly see certain angles where Vlahovic is pulling down on Mari's shirt as they both go to ground. Mari, of course, had contact as well. He also had a handful of Vlahovic's shirt. I did see some people on Twitter saying that it shouldn't have gone to VAR. Call me stupid. I think VAR saw something that the ref didn't see, which is Vlahovic also having a handful of the shirt. Therefore, let's give the referee this perspective, right? So that he can see and make an educated decision. Educate me, guys, in the comments or whatever. Why shouldn't have that gone to VAR?
Yeah.
I'm not saying whether or not I agree or disagree whether it was a penalty or not, because I myself am unsure. But I do think there was 50-50, but does it favor the attacker? Does it favor the defender? I'm not sure.
Rocky has since said that was the correct call. Personally, in my opinion, it seemed a little bit harsh at first, but then when you see Vlahovic getting a handful of the defender's shirt before anything else happened, almost instigating it, and the contact, the original contact against Vlahovic being made originally outside the box.
Yeah.
You know, it paints a different
That's the tricky part.
picture. Yes, it was definitely a weird one. Let us know what you think. Then Juve, just before halftime, Kostic, after everyone was trying to have a crack from just outside the box, you know, you had everyone shooting. It was Kostic's turn to shoot, and he placed it low and hard and scored a lovely long-range goal to give Juve the lead, rewarding Spalletti for his trust and telling him, "Look, I've done it again, boss."
Yeah.
Immediately after the break, Mandragora struck sensationally from distance. Of course, this was our goal of the week. This was after Thuram's brain fart, where he decided to head the ball at a 90-degree angle, just up, and it just landed in the path of Mandragora.
It landed to Keane, who played it to
exactly.
Mandragora.
So yes, it landed to
Keane.
Keane.
Got an assist on Fanta.
Yeah,
it was
hilarious,
crazy, man.
hilarious.
Crazy.
Yeah, Dan will be happy about that. He's been bitching about Keane, and for the right reasons, of course.
So am I.
Yeah. Yeah, you have him on Fanta. You've got Keane
And
on
the
Fanta.
other one,
Okay,
which we don't talk about on the
Yeah,
pod.
you're not meant to talk about that, what a goal that was. And then there weren't many chances after this moment, but I do have to give a shout out to De Gea, who had a great save on McKennie at the end. Kind of like one of those saves where you jump backwards and tip it over the bar. Absolutely amazing.
There's also Keane struck the fuck out of the post,
yes,
man.
of course, bro. That was a lovely solo effort, and the way he hit that crossbar was... Keane is one of the unluckiest strikers in the league.
100%.
I think he is
100%.
the unluckiest striker.
I mean, there was one season where it was proven as a fact. He
Yes.
hit the most posts,
Offside
scored
goals.
the most offside goals.
Yeah.
Every single one was against him. And remember, there was also that season where he had scored like 4 offside and got 0 goals in an
Yeah.
entire campaign
Yeah.
for Juve.
Now, I'm not sure if I'm going crazy, but apart from the odd personnel tweaks like Coop Miners at the back, Kostic playing on the flank, to me this looks like Tudor's Juve.
It doesn't look different, and I was expecting that after the international break he'll go for a 4-3-3, which
Agreed.
is what we've been saying.
Especially when you only have till the end of the season.
Exactly.
He must think that the squad, I guess, is more suited for a 3 at the back or something.
Because it allows him to play Cambiaso and Kostic, that's for
Yeah,
sure. And,
yeah.
and you'll see, I mean, he's not stupid because Kostic got a very decisive goal over here. But when you see Juve try to play the ball out from the back, oh my God, guys, hurry up. What
So
are you doing?
slow
You're
and
so
predictable.
chill, man.
Yeah.
What, like, there needs to be a certain element of
Urgency.
urgency, man. Like, I don't get, like, what they're waiting for. It's not like they're forcing shifts in Fiorentina's defense and attacking when they... You need to move the ball around quicker
Yeah.
in order to create a transition of that nature. So I didn't see that from Juve. And on the other hand, Fiorentina looked a lot more... They were pressing a lot higher. They were
Yeah,
attacking
yeah.
with more urgency. They were using the wings a little bit better.
Mhm.
And,
I find it interesting as well that Spalletti seems to rate Vlahovic way more highly than the other two. Than Beavis and Butthead, what his name said. Openda and David. Openda and David came on so late in this game. I almost wonder why he even brought them on.
A couple
Barely
minutes
any
to
minutes,
go.
yeah.
They came on in the 88th minute for
And-
Yildiz and Vlahovic.
Yeah, and one of the main criticisms about this whole moving the ball from left to right at the back and then attempting a random long ball to Vlahovic is that you're not involving your best player in the game whatsoever.
No.
So you've got Yildiz completely out of the game.
Yildiz
And this
is
was-
a shadow player
yeah.
at this point, just
And it
taking
shouldn't be the
players
case.
away from, because he's being double marked every single
If you
time.
play, if Spalletti tries to implement his system, Yildiz will be one of the players who sees the ball the most. He'll be one of the
Exactly.
most influential. In fact, he said after the game, Spalletti, he said, we have to involve Yildiz more. We kept the ball too often in the defensive parameter. We needed to skip a pass and play vertically. Exactly, and that's it. Quite often they play too safe.
Uh-huh.
And not to mention as well that the experiment of playing Coop Miners at the back could have gone terribly wrong over here because he was faced against Keane and Piccoli, and it just showed that when you're up against a proper 9, it's very important to be a natural centre back because he looked
Yeah.
really out of place.
When
at times.
Keane hit the post.
it was Coop Miners backing off.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. So I'm not sure about the tweaks Spalletti has made thus far. It doesn't really look like he's come in and taken the team by the scruff of its neck. But it just... I'm sure he'd be playing a 4-3-3 if he had the players he wants for a 4-3-3. But then this goes down. Jake and I were discussing the 5-year timeline of Juve. And it is absolutely fucking bizarre. They are, in my eyes, with no disrespect to any Juve fans that we have listening, one of the most poorly run clubs I've ever seen. I mean, we're criticizing Milan last season for the ownership, etc. Now imagine that for the past 5 years.
It's
That's
bad,
essentially what Juve have been going through. From the time they reappointed Allegri after they sacked Sarri after a season and brought in Pirlo, to then sacking Allegri and bringing in Thiago Motta and bringing in Giuntoli
And then not committing to the cause.
and not committing to the cause and sacking them both essentially 3/4 of the way through the season, spending a bunch of money on players who haven't performed.
And
Douglas
they buy
Luiz,
players when they don't have a coach.
Cope Miners, Openda, and they sign them for one system. And then another manager gets to use them and it's not that manager's system at all. All while selling Hausen for nothing, selling Sule for nothing. Savona, who just scored for Nottingham Forest as well.
Twice.
Moise Keane as well. These are world beaters, and they're selling them for nothing and spending all their money on players that are absolutely fucking flopping. And now they have Spalletti and Comalla, I don't know who it is. That's making the calls now. But I'm sorry, I don't think they're fit to be in charge of Juve.
I don't know.
Of a club like Juventus.
What's the plan now in January? Are they going to commit to giving Spalletti what he wants, and then at the end of the year they don't give him a contract?
Yeah, like I'd say, go for it, because that's the manager you have right now. But knowing them, they'll spend 50 million on someone that's incredibly controversial. And he won't fit in for the next manager.
Yeah.
I don't see a strategy. I don't see a strategy at all.
So the Juve next gen thing, I think they've got it a little bit wrong, because they're selling mercurial talents to make a profit, to buy ready-made products, and I don't think that's the way to do it. You're meant to sell the lesser ones unless a crazy offer comes in. In reality, they're selling their best talents for too little. And one of them is at Real Madrid. The other one is currently with first place Roma, playing as a key player. You know what I mean? It's definitely not great. And not to mention as well, they're spending too much money on high risk, low reward players who don't have a good. You're spending all that money on Openda and on David. Their salary is so high that if they don't do well, you can't get rid of them. And they're on long contracts, and that's it. You're just fucked.
They gave David 9 million a season because they got him on
and it's like a 4 or 5 year contract or something. It's a little bit weird, the business area of Juve right now. But yes, on the pitch as well, I'm hoping to see less Tudor and more Spalletti personally.
Soon, man. We need it soon.
Yes, I'm hoping to see.
You know what's not Spalletti at all? Bless him, because he's been playing well. McKennie behind the striker alongside Yildiz in this 3-4 in this 3-4-2-1. They brought on Conceição, who made an instant impact. Zegrova's not being utilised. He was another one of these signings. Also, man, I'm of the opinion that Gatti can be a really clutch player to use. He finds himself in so many goal-scoring situations. And for him not to get a single minute when they're chasing a victory, I know he's a defender, but for set pieces, and as well, that chance that he had against Milan, where Manjan made that another amazing save by Manjan.
He gives you an aerial advantage.
Exactly. He finds himself, I take him on Fanta every year.
Especially against, like for example, a defense that includes Ranieri, or Pongracic, who's big but not very sturdy. Gatti might have been a good shout actually for the late game.
Yeah, and then there was Fiorentina, right?
And then on the other hand, we saw a few changes from Vanoli. Changes that we had already addressed, to be honest. So once again, he went with Som in the middle. Now, Som, I like what he does. However, I do think that for his size, he needs to be a little bit tougher, a little bit stronger. And the same can be said again for Pongracic. So with Pongracic and Som, they have a lot of size, but they're not very assertive with their dominance. Yeah.
Even, to be honest, I was really...
Pablo Mari.
Yeah. Really disappointed in how Mari tried to handle Vlahovic.
Exactly. So that's it. Mari didn't learn from his mistakes. Mari's a very hands-on centre-back.
I thought you were going to say handsome, because he is.
Shout out Pablo Mari. He's very hands-on. He's very up your ass as a centre-back. He will get up all in your shit and beat you aerially and physically. However, that wasn't working against Vlahovic, and Vlahovic spun him at the halfway line to go one-on-one with the keeper. He rounded the keeper and then missed. He hit the side netting. That's something I forgot to mention there. Just have it. He went 50-50 against Vlahovic when Vlahovic backheeled and turned before the penalty incident. Vlahovic did really well over there. And once again, he risked giving away a penalty. I think that he just had to back up a little bit and give him some space, because clearly the way he was defending wasn't working and he just failed to adapt.
And I think a lot of it had to do with Fiorentina kind of insisting on playing a bit of a high line, and in fact with that long ball over the top where Vlahovic did Mari immediately, I think he was on his ass and not further back, because it's an instruction that they had to play higher up. So perhaps it is partly Vanoli's responsibility to call out, okay, look, you're getting cooked by Vlahovic, let's take a step back over there. But I did like the way that Fiorentina played. I think we saw them play their best football
I think
in
so
this game.
too. I think they
Still
were fine.
winless,
Very
of course.
intense, very high tempo football.
Mhm.
Still winless, but this was a very promising sign. And Vanoli said, you can't change your mentality in one game. It's going to take a while, but this was a very good start for them, and there were many positives to take away. People did look better in this team.
Oh my God, you know who Vanoli looks like this for our Maltese audience, man? Mark Lawrence.
You think so? I don't see it.
Jake.
Really?
Jake, you're taking the piss.
Are we really going to pull up Mark
We're
Lawrence?
gonna pull
yes.
up
I like the work Mark Lawrence
Mark
does.
Lawrence Malta, because I just looked up Mark Lawrence and apparently there's an author. Mark Lawrence Zamit. That's no Mark Lawrence Zamit.
Nick would be in hell, man. Trying to find what we're talking about.
There he is. That's Vanoli, bro.
You think so?
That's fucking Vanoli.
It's a small picture.
Maybe his Facebook. Shout out Mark Lawrence Zamit. What a journalist.
What a
Honestly,
journalist.
a brilliant journalist. He's there at the bottom right. Oh yeah. Okay.
Never mind.
Oh yeah. He looks like Mark Lawrence Zamit. Look him up, guys.
Don't worry about
What's
it.
on your mind today?
But if Nick gets a photo, I'll put it up because I do have one more point to make. This was also about Juve, by the way. Juventus. There we go.
There's
there we go.
Vanoli.
Okay, pull him up. You think he looks like Vanoli?
He has the same swagger, eh?
He does. He looks
Long
like
hair
Vanoli.
and the glasses.
It's true.
Go Vanoli.
Shout out Mark Lawrence.
Yep.
So the main criticism I have towards Juve this game is that most of the chances that were created didn't seem to be because of the system, but because of individual moments. Because of Vlahovic, to be honest with you, man. And Vlahovic is one of the most criticized players on Juventus, is the one who is, again, wearing his heart on his sleeve and fighting for the cause. He is the player who seems to give the most of a fuck on this team. And okay, he missed that one-on-one. It's true, but that to me screams a striker low on confidence. Because go and look up Vlahovic against Empoli for Juve. When he was in a situation similar to that, he just scores those chances normally, instinctively when he's confident, even for Fiorentina.
Yes.
He would never miss chances like that.
Uh-huh.
So right now I think with Vlahovic he has a bit of a crisis. Maybe he's feeling the pressure of having two players who are on extremely high salaries and who have been brought in breathing down his neck. He's had changes in coach. He spent the entire game being racially abused by the fans, and let's not pretend that doesn't make a difference to your game.
Of course it does.
Psychologically he was being battered. There are many reasons. There's probably a bit of imposter syndrome because of everything he reads and all that.
It's against his former club
it's
as well.
against
in
his
the
former
stadium.
team, yes. I still think he was one of the best players for Juve this game.
Yeah, I'd say he was the highlight of Juve in this game, apart from Kostic, of course. Even Locatelli had a decent showing. But nothing really to add from my end for this one, bro.
Okay, very good. Let's just see if I have anything else in my talking points. No, that's fine. My
Brilliant.
last point was racism in caps.
Yes, that's been discussed.
Indeed.
The victory that sent Roma top of the table alone for the first time in a while. Cremonese 1, Roma 3. Cremonese handed Pisa their first win of the season last match day, and now missed Colo-Colo, Zerbin by Faye and Mumbagna.
Who, bro?
Faye, I think, because I thought it was autocorrect that just wrote Faye. Roma, top of the table, coming off a win over Udinese. They missed Dybala, Angelino, Bailey and Dovbyk. A good point is that Manyan had just saved Dybala's penalty as well, who is also one of the best penalty takers in Europe. Cremonese lined up in a 3-5-2 with Audero in goal and the backline of Bianchetti, Baschirotto and Terracciano. Mussolini was on the left with Barbieri on the right, and the midfield three of Bondo, Van de Putte and Paiero, with Vardy and Bonazzoli starting up front together. The coolest striker combination in Serie A at the moment.
Agreed.
For Gasperini's met was a 3-4-2-1, Villar in goal, backline of Mancini, Indica and Zolkowski. Zolkowski, yes. Celik on the right, Wesley on the left, and double pivot of Cristante and Kone, with Sule and Pellegrini playing behind Baldanzi. And Jake said that Baldanzi is Gasperini's solution for the lack of number 9, right? Was it him in a false 9? Was it Sule in a false 9? I'm unsure, because I did see Sule in those situations a bit more than I saw Baldanzi. So it could be that whole Sule Dybala thing where they just kind of mix
the
it.
classic Gasperini, the atypical strikers who are given the liberty to roam freely.
Exactly. In the 16th minute, Sule opened the scoring. He drifted from the left of the penalty arc and finished neatly into the near post of a Manu Kone layoff. There was a disallowed goal for Pellegrini shortly after, and then an overturned penalty. It was Cremonese who were initially awarded a penalty but later overturned due to Mancini's hand in a natural position. Gasperini received a second yellow for dissent in the 60th minute and got sent off. And then 2 minutes later, in the 62nd, Evan Ferguson scored his first goal for the club and first goal in Serie A. Amazing to see. Evan Ferguson has been low on confidence. He went to a top team after, not featuring much in the Prem and playing some championship football. He has been seeing Troy Parrott do such a good job, so perhaps low on confidence. But this goal will give him some confidence, and it was good to see him get on the score sheet. In the 69th minute, Wesley made a 3. He finished a brilliant build-up play initiated by El Shaarawy. Ferguson was also involved in this. And then in stoppage time, there was a consolation goal for Cremonese through Foligno, who nodded in a corner, but it was only a consolation goal, really. The biggest thing to point out here is that Roma scored more than one goal. They scored three goals, while having a bit of an injury crisis. So Dybala, Dovbyk out injured, who are pivotal for them in the attacking phase, even though Dovbyk doesn't feature that much anymore. But they managed 3 goals nonetheless against a tough opponent.
They did. And it's clear to see that they had certain patterns of play that were practiced and rehearsed on the training ground. For example, the first goal, you can see Baldanzi's movement as a false 9. Now granted, maybe he wasn't flashy and he didn't exactly seem like a massive contributor to the game, but he pulled the defender out of the way from Sule's to give Sule the clear opportunity to score, So that's a massive moment. Moving off the ball is very important as well. I thought that Roma they made they made it look easy against Cremonese, and this Cremonese side is not an easy one to beat whatsoever. Their high tempo football, their high line is very good, and they're physical. And the moments when Cremonese managed to hit on the break, it seemed like they always had an answer for them. They always had a player position who could catch up, particularly Wesley, man.
Yeah. And it was the overlapping movements that I really enjoyed. Even there, you just played a clip of the ball played to Wesley. The way that they created the space for Wesley to run in from behind over there was genius. And those are the moments where Pellegrini could do a shift, because he could really cut the defense with a pass like that if they use him to his strengths. But like you said, when you hit the nail on the head, the movements created so much space, and they were pressing so high as well that forced Cremonese into some mistakes. Cremonese did have a few chances at the start, and Svilar pulled off a great save at a point. That's almost a guarantee that Svilar is going to pull off
he had a bit of a clumsy one where he spilt it onto the post, and then there was a rebound, and he ended up flapping around.
But I think it was that mainly. I thought Cremonese, much like Atalanta against Napoli, they struggled to deal with the super high press, and it was the first time really we saw that aggressive press by Roma, because before it looked a bit more like a Mourinho Roma. Now it looked a bit more like a Gasperini.
We started to see it against Udinese before the international break. They did pepper them with chances, but this was very well done. And to be honest with you, if any Roma fans are listening to this, I have a very good feeling about how this is only going to get better for Roma. I mean, this is them pre-Gasperini signings. This is them with some key players out injured, and Dovbyk, Angelino, and Dybala. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So probably better things to come from Roma, and I wonder when it will get to them. Because they currently sit at the top.
Can they do it, bro?
I'm not sure. I believe
Because it's
that
almost December
Mhm.
and they're first.
Yes, and I think if January arrives and they're first, the owner will be like, hey, listen, maybe I should throw some money at this team. Maybe I should throw some money at this coach, you know? And when you look at the full year, and you count as well what Ranieri had done with Roma, they're massive, eh? I mean, they're probably the best team in the league when it comes to points earned in the past year.
Yes, definitely,
Right?
From,
Because
from
they went on a
the
mental
Ranieri
run
spell
with
of last
Ranieri,
year. Absolutely,
Yeah.
they'll likely be first, man.
Yeah.
But this is the thing, they have the same problem as Inter, right? Where they didn't beat Milan. They didn't beat Inter, and now they play Napoli. So this is a huge game.
Huge
it's also
test.
a huge opportunity for Milan, who play Lazio.
And a huge opportunity for Napoli to actually overtake Roma. That's a direct clash. This is going to be a massive game. Conte against Gasperini, 2-3 at the back systems. Oof.
Mm-hmm.
When is that game? So I make sure I'm fucking
Sunday, 8:45. I have lunch, so I'm fine in the evening.
excellent, bro. I don't have anything. Sundays are
Brilliant.
for football.
Gasperini also made some good adjustments halfway through the game, some good in-game management by bringing on the likes of Ferguson, El Shaarawy and El Lainawi that all added attacking variety and actually played a part in the goals that were scored. They dominated, they pressed high, they dominated transitions, they exploited spaces with overlapping runs and off-the-ball movement. Defensively, they were disciplined and they remained strong, with a lot of defending have to be done in front of the defense, which is something we've seen very commonly for Roma this season, and then showed some struggles by Cremonese, who just kind of failed to adapt to this game. Really, they faded under Roma's intensity, and they made a few defensive mistakes. Perhaps they could have been a bit better defensively. But the fact that they got a goal towards the end will fill them with confidence. I mean, Cremonese have exceeded expectations. I don't think anyone expected them to win this game or even draw this game, but they'll continue to grow into the season and continue to improve, I'm sure.
Yes, for sure. So it's going to be a tough task for them. And I particularly love just one more point, Gasperini's approach, man, where he just packs the team. So 4, 5, 6, 7 players need to be big. That's it, you know? You need 7 big players in your team. Then you can play little ones up front to do what they want and say changing position and play up front, you know. But you need now this guy that's coming. He's a giant man, this Polish defender. Where the hell did he come from? This guy out of nowhere, you know. So now they've got this giant Polish guy in Dika and Mancini at the back.
Oh
Poof!
my God!
Can you imagine what a nightmare that must be to deal with? Celik on the right is very strong. Wesley is a little ferocious pitbull on the left as well. He's small, but he doesn't give up. He's got a lot of fight in him. Cohen and Cristante are two tough guys in the middle as well.
Cristante's another guy you wouldn't
Cristante's
want him
tough
to eye
man
your
as
girl.
well. Yeah. And then Pellegrini, Sule, Baldanzi, you know, just like dancing around up front. Yeah.
Yes. Very technical players and very physical players. A good
we also
balance.
saw a Gasperini red card this game.
Yes, fire.
Brilliant. We're
Fire.
back.
Double yellow
Game's
for
back.
dissent.
Hell yes.
Over
I saw
to-
one with like gangster rap playing in the background, like a compilation.
Started
Like
with gangster shit.
the motherfucking tank they get.
Over to you, brother. What's next?
What's next? Only Vincenzo Italiani's analing of Udinese. Italiano. Vincenzo Italiano. Yes, sometimes that happens. So yes, this was Bologna going away to Udinese. Quite a tough Udinese side. Oh my God, look what's happened here, bro.
What the heck is that?
My
You've got it.
lineup
You-
has...
Oh my God.
It happened to you as well. Is it SofaScore is the problem? No, you're fine.
No, these are the lineups. They just look odd next to each other, no?
Maybe. Do you mind doing the lineup read for me?
Yes, of course. So for
Literally, they are the other way around. This is a nightmare.
So for Udinese, it was a 3-5-1-1 formation. Okoye in goal, backline of Sole, Cabasele and Bertola. Kamara on the left, Ezebue on the right. Midfield three of Atta, Karlstrom and Eklinkamp, with Zaniolo playing behind Davis. For Bologna, it was a 4-2-3-1 formation. Ravaglia in goal, backline of De Silvestri, Chazale, Hehem and Miranda. Double pivot of Moro and Pobega, with Fabian playing ahead of them and Orsolini and Dominguez flanking Castro.
Very good, bro. So the first goal came through Tommaso Pobega. I believe it was 54 minutes in, yes. And it was after a well-executed counter / kind of transition thing where Solini played the ball into the path of Pobega, and Pobega spotted a gap and just placed it perfectly into the bottom corner. There wasn't much Okoye could do about it, and this is one of those matches made in heaven. Pobega and Italiano.
Yeah.
They've been around together, man, for quite a while. Was it at Spezia where Pobega was on loan? Surely not. No, it wasn't Spezia. It was another team, bro. I can't remember. It escapes me.
No, he was at Torino. But before that, Spezia, no?
Yes, but was Pobega at Spezia? He must have been then. He must have been. Because I remember him racking up 4 or 5 goals when he was out on loan from Milan, and he was being coached by Vincenzo Italiano.
He was at Spezia, yes, in the 2020-2021
how many
season.
goals?
6 goals in 20 games.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So yes, Italiano definitely sees something in Pobega, and to be honest, it's great. I'm telling you, they do very well together. And then in the 59th minute, shortly after, just 5 minutes later, Pobega struck again, and this time he capitalized on a defensive error from Udinese's goalkeeper / vlogger Maduke Okoye when playing out from the back, and this was clearly Okoye's mistake. But of course, he blamed everyone else except himself.
Exactly.
One of those things where you make a blatant mistake and then you go,
what the hell, bro?
what the hell are you doing? Come here.
Run a bit.
He played it to Pobega and then blamed the defender for not being there.
Man. No.
How about you look up? Sure, maybe he should have been there, but look up before you pass. You know, you're the keeper.
clearly, because Okoye was never this bad.
Yeah.
I was never a huge fan of him. But clearly there's an element of ring rust, because he spent some time out, he came in, and he hasn't really been himself.
And he's had, decent moments. I mean, this game as well, I haven't even mentioned it, he saved the penalty.
He saved Orsolini's penalty.
And it was a good save as well. So I should have probably opened with that. But yeah, it was a great save, and he had a bit of a mixed game, Okoye, because this was clearly his fault.
Yeah.
And then in stoppage time, Bernardeschi sealed it. It was another defensive lapse from Udinese, and the turnover that saw Bernardeschi scoring in an empty net.
Yeah.
But yes, the missed penalty came in the 41st minute after a foul by Ezibwe, and yes, it was saved by Okoye, of course. Now, bro, Bologna are absolutely flying at the moment, and their team was decimated, of course. They keep losing players, but it seems like they have this sense of unity that not many teams in the league have. And every player seems to know what to do, and they play such a high tempo system, and their transitions are so fast, and they switch from flank to flank effortlessly, and they always have an option, and no matter who has the ball and where they have the ball, there's always 2 options for them to pass to.
There's harmony with them that few teams have when it comes to their fluidity. I think there are few teams. I think Como come the closest with how comfortable they look on the ball and how they move as a unit moving forward. Of course, Inter have it, but I'm talking about the slightly more minnow sides here. But I think it comes down to the fact that there is belief. There is belief in the manager, and there is belief from the players and from the fans. And it seems like everyone is just playing for the shirt, for the badge, for the stadium. And they have a beautiful story. I mean, over the past few seasons, going back all the way to when they had Mihailovic, and they didn't let go of Mihailovic because he was sick, and it was a bit of a situation. It was a unique situation, a very delicate situation which they handled with a lot of grace. And you see that the team was capable of a lot more than what they were doing with Mihailovic in his last few moments, and the caretaker that was helping them out, because they got Thiago Motta, and immediately with essentially the same team, they got European football. After that, they get Vincenzo Italiano, and they lose some star players. They lose Calafiori, who is a star at Arsenal, and they lose Zirkzee, who is not really a star at United, but he was a key piece to their team. They lost Dan Ndoye as well, and they win the Coppa Italia. And now this season, they're in 5th place. They only have 2 losses this season, one of the fewest. They have fewer losses than Inter this season. I believe on par with Roma. But they just keep on improving and improving and improving. And there's this sense of belief. And for some reason, man, I don't think this team feels the pressure.
I think the coach gives them enough confidence to go out and play against anyone.
Yeah.
And the fact that on his CV, Italiano can say now, like, listen, I've made it to the finals in Europe. I've won the Coppa Italia, beating Milan. You know, he's done it before, and that definitely fills them with hope. And the fact that Bologna themselves are seeing results, there's no greater affirmation to that, to be honest with you. And it seems that everyone's doing well, because even like when the lineup came out, I was a bit disappointed because I didn't see Zortea, and I like Zortea as a player. He's very exciting. Yeah. But at one point when he comes on, he absolutely just destroys a defender, knocks the ball past, and plays a perfect ball through across the goalkeeper into the path of Fabian, who had not an empty net, but a clear chance to shoot and score, but he absolutely mishit the chance and missed. Yeah. But these things don't even seem to get to them. And the way they line up is so atypical. Like, if you look at the average position map, you'll see that it looks like a 3-4-3. And up front, the highest central point is Fabian.
Yeah, as always. With
Fabian.
With his teams.
So Castro is actually positioned most of the time deep in midfield, fighting for that ball.
He is such a target man.
He is. He's the smallest target man to have ever lived.
Literally, he's they call him Lautorito.
Lautorito.
Because he's like a small Lautaro. Oh my God! Now I see what happened to your lineups.
You're seeing that? It's inverted.
I see why
it's
you got
mirrored.
confused.
Yeah.
But he's super important to them, Castro. But one thing that really impressed me in this game was Castro didn't get the goal, Orsolini missed a penalty, Pobega scores 2.
Yeah.
Like this is the thing that's good about Inter, for example, right? The fact that they have multiple players who get on the score sheet.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just Lautaro and Thuram and Boni.
Yeah.
But everyone is capable of scoring.
Goals come
and
from
if
anywhere.
we can see that, because they can sometimes be a bit Orsolini dependent. Of course, you're going to be when you have one of the
Lukumi
best
scoring
players.
against Napoli.
Exactly. But now, Pobega from midfield getting on the score sheet, Fabian being in some clear goal scoring opportunities. Keep in mind, we saw Dominguez in this game when they have still Bernardeschi, and we haven't yet seen much of. Well, he wasn't even at the game. Where is he? I forget his name. Jonathan Rowe. We haven't seen much from Jonathan Rowe. Cambiaghi's injured. Freuler's injured. Skorupski's injured. Holm is injured.
Holm's injured, but he removed his tooth.
Ridiculous. Sue the surgeon.
When you watch Udinese nowadays, one player stands out to you, and no, it's not the vlogger in goal. It is Arthur Atta.
Boy.
He is excellent, and this game as well, he did put some of his teammates on a plate, but they did let him down. But Atta is very close to a big move.
Yeah, I think so. And he's still young as well. No, isn't he? In his early 20s, I believe so. Let me just pull up.
I would like to see more of Miller, man. Is that too much to
22.
ask? Show me more Miller.
I have asked me a question about Miller. Don't know.
Yeah.
No, I haven't seen him much.
He's good, man. He's really exciting. I've seen him come on a few times. Even scored in the Coppa Italia.
Okay.
He's 18 years old, man. He's really small and creative. He has a lot of flair about him. He's a very exciting player. And he's really tidy with the ball. He's a very technical player.
Mm-hmm.
All
yes,
right,
sir.
bro. That's basically it. Yes, Bologna keeping on, while Udinese suffer yet another setback.
Amazing. Next up, we have the ballad of Jesus Rodriguez, brother. Torino 1, Como 5. Torino coming off 6 games unbeaten. Most recently a draw against Juve in the derby. They missed Israel, Coco, Shures, Simeone, Ilic and Sava. So quite an injury crisis without Simeone, Coco, Israel, Shures. Insane. Ilic. Como are now unbeaten in their last 10. But most recently they had 2 goalless draws against Napoli and Cagliari. They missed Roberto, Dossena, Goldaniga and Diao. Torino lined up in a 3-5-2 formation with Paleari in goal and a backline of Mazina, Maripan and Tamez. They had Lazaro on the left, Pedersen on the right, with a midfield trio of Vlasic, Aslani and Casadei, with Duvan Zapata and Cyril Ngonge starting up front together. For Fabregas, his meant was a 4-2-3-1 formation, with Boutez in goal, backline of Smolcic, Ramon, Carlos and Valle. They had Dacunia and Perrone in the pivot, with Addai, Paz and Rodriguez starting behind Alvaro Morata. So, Morata missed 2 huge chances in the opening moments of the match. This was a bit of a theme. Morata struggled in front of goal, but give Morata the 3 players that he has behind him and you see the best qualities of him when it comes to linking play up. You see him a bit more as this utility forward. He's not going to get you the goals, but he empowers so many players around him. So he was important in this game, and Fabregas gave him a massive high five at the end of it.
It's the Morata of the Euros when Spain won it.
Exactly.
I mean, he wasn't exactly scoring goals for fun, was he?
No.
He's a utility striker.
Keep him off pens. What are you doing? Putting him on pens. But anyway,
put him on pens.
in the 36th minute, Valle released Jesus Rodriguez. He burnt Pedersen. Completely killed Pedersen, beat Maripan, and he squared the ball to Adai, who finished from the middle. In the 47th minute, still in the first half, Rodriguez mishit a clearance, the ball popped up and hit his wrist, and VAR awarded a penalty. Vlasic stepped up and sent Butez the wrong way. 1-1 heading into halftime, and Rodriguez at this point has an assist and a penalty that he gave away.
How clumsy that was! It was comical,
insanely
and
clumsy.
the fact that it went to VAR, and the referee kept, of course, it kept being played and rewinded and played and rewinded of him basically roundhouse kicking and missing the ball, and every time it hitting his hand.
Comical.
And
Not a good look.
And was he standing over the referee? I don't remember if he was standing over the referee. That would have been terrible.
I would have died, bro. That's okay. Second half came. Rodriguez absolutely floored Pedersen again, laid the ball off again to Adai, who finished well. What are we seeing here, guys? Fabregas in halftime going, Rodriguez, I'm liking you up against Pedersen. Guys, play the ball to Rodriguez, let him kill Pedersen. And he did it again over there. The same combination, same finish. In the 70th minute, Torino gifted Morata the ball. He squared the ball to Rodriguez, who had an open goal, and he skied it. So here he has 2 insane assists, gives away a penalty, and he skied the ball with a completely open net.
The duality of man.
Rodriguez, man.
The duality of Rodriguez.
Just a few moments later, second phase after a corner, Perrone floated the ball in, and Ramon guided a header into the corner.
Ramon's good in the box and the final third. He's often there, popping up out of nowhere.
Yep, so that's 3-1 to Como. Paz made it 4-1 after VAR overturned the offside because Nkunku kept him on.
He was brought on to settle the defence, Nkunku.
Good idea.
The offside, the way he kept him onside was shameful almost.
I thought it was off. It was so
But then you see him. He's not in harmony at all with the defensive line. The defensive line is here and he's here,
Coco is so important to this defense.
Coco is so important, and Maripan and Mazina and Nkunku had a...
And what's his name?
Nkunku.
Who's injured, man?
Who?
I didn't even mention him. He was at...
Is it Shores?
No. He was... where was he last season? God, it'll come to me. I'll get back to them. Finish the play-by-play. In the 86th minute, and then Inji gave a horrific back pass. He played Baturina clean through on goal, and he scored his first Como goal.
One of the hottest prospects to come out of Croatia now at the moment, Baturina. So very exciting stuff over there, seeing him getting off the mark.
And I was expecting to see more of him, but
same here. But they have a 40-man squad. I mean, it's difficult to see everyone.
He's been being introduced slowly. Ismaili, bro. Ismaili.
Where is Ismaili?
Where the hell is Ismaili?
Where is Ismaili? Probably in Albania. Yeah, that's it.
Possibly.
Where is he? He's not even on the injury list here. Probably that means he's either had a baby. Or someone,
cute,
something happened.
Your team is getting mauled 5-1 at home to Como. Fuck you, baby, I'm joking.
What's a typical Albanian name, first name, Nick?
Georgi, maybe.
Georgi, that's good. Georgi.
My girlfriend's dad's name.
Really? Georgi? Shout out Georgi.
Shout out Georgi.
He's also a referee.
He's also a referee. Shout out Georgi the referee.
Georgi Bear, that's what I'm calling him.
Yeah, we need to get Georgi's opinion on the Juve
Yeah,
incident
that'd
with
be
Fiorentina,
amazing.
actually.
I don't think you can because of because referees have they can't.
A code of conduct, oh my
Okay,
God.
then
can't-
ask any referee
Exactly.
you know
Ask.
to write it down.
You have a friend, no? A friend. Ask
Yeah.
him.
I mean, bro, I'm struggling to think of things. I have my prep in front of me. I'm just struggling to think of things to say about this game.
Baroni's inability to chill the team out when things are going terrible, because this is obviously a team, and it's not every day that you concede 5, and especially conceding 5 at home is terrible. And conceding 5 against Inter, okay, maybe you get it if it happens once, but it happened with Lazio. It happened with Torino.
But you know what's the most...
It happened against Como now.
You know what's the most interesting part of it all, though? Because it's not like they conceded early and they just got mauled after that. Yes, they conceded. Morata missed a couple of sitters, really. But the thing that stood out to me the most is they scored a penalty on the brink of half-time. They equalized. They equalized to make it 1-1 on the stroke of half-time, which is the best time a team could score at to get back into the game. So did they perhaps go into the second half disrespecting their opponents, going for the win, and being caught out, and then Como just smelt blood?
I guess it could be the case. I don't know, man. From what I saw, it was just that the way that the game started, it was very, very even, it seemed. However, Como were dominating possession and they were creating the better chances. It didn't look totally sustainable the way Torino were playing, but it looked like they could perhaps get away with it. But then in the second half, things just shifted completely. Como just exploited the defensive lapses that Torino seemed to have, and they just made the most out of their chances, and they put their players in positions, in one-on-one positions, where the Como players were superior.
Exactly, and you know what it was?
The Rodriguez Pedersen.
Exactly, and you know what it was? It was a patched-up defense that Torino had, because they didn't have two of their starters over there.
Yeah.
I mean, just look at the defense that they had to string together. It was Mazina, Maripan, Tamese, and then there was Pedersen on the right and Lazaro on the left, which I mean, with the technical players and the fantastic dribblers that Como have, and the amount of runs they make off the ball and the space that they create, it was a match made in hell, really, for Torino, who have an injury crisis, of course, without Simeone, Lecce, Coco. Adams was ruled out the same day because he had the gastric flu, bro.
No, it's going round, guys.
It's going round, be careful, huh?
This guy might have it. Shout out to Aslani for doing a 12k.
Yes, Aslan did a 12k.
He did 12k this game. He was by far the one who ran the most.
I did a 17 last Saturday. So
Serie A spotlight.
Roasted.
Yeah.
The amount of talent though they have. I mean, Adai, Paz, and Rodriguez behind Morata, whilst Diao, Sergio Roberto, and all these guys are out injured. Sorry.
Breaking news. Nico Paz is off the fucking Real Madrid.
Ah, yes. Whoa. Jesus.
9 million. They're getting him for 9 million buyback option. Oh my god.
End of the season, is it? Do you know?
Oh my god. I don't know, to be honest, when it is. But I saw what's his name? The guy who pops up on my Instagram, and he always goes before he speaks, Fabrizio Romano. Yeah. This is how he takes a video, Fabrizio Romano. Breaking news! What do they call it? The millennial pause? The millennial pause.
Millennial pause.
I have a question.
Please.
How bad is this going to affect Como?
How bad will it affect Como? I think it will give more space to the player, to other talents they have, like Baturina. I think the worst part of this for Como is that they don't really get a payday from it. They don't get a massive... But in reality, he was lent to them, kind of. So I guess more than anything, he helped them to establish themselves in the league. Why am I on his Wikipedia? What am I doing?
I mean, if there are, if there's a team, Nick, that can potentially get past losing a star player like that, I'll probably say Como are one of the ones that can adapt a bit more, because they only essentially sign players who play a number 10 role. So Baturina, Jesus Rodriguez, all these guys that come in are capable of playing a number 10. The problem is, I don't think they'll find someone that can hit a free kick the way Paz does, or strike it from distance the way Paz does. He has that world-class X factor about him, which other players don't have quite yet. But if it's until the rest of the season, I think he still has a lot more to give, and Como can adapt for the following season, because they're a very systematic team. In fact, Paz in the last few games hasn't contributed as much as he did at the start of the season.
Yeah.
And other guys have been contributing.
It's true. But I mean, that's because probably every team just focuses on how do we stop this guy.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
June 2026, according
end
to
of the
the
season.
millennial pause man.
End of the season. That fucking stinks, bro.
Yeah, but it's not that bad for them. They get to finish the season with him, and
They're
then they
losing
can-
their best player. Let's
Yes,
call a
yes,
dime
yes.
a dime.
Yes, of course, but they're losing their best player, who was never really theirs, right?
Yes, but they're losing him.
Never-
that he
no.
was there, you know. Como, however,
If look, the situation where they wouldn't have lost him is if he wasn't good.
true.
If he had he been spectacular, they would have lost him. You know,
Yes.
that's how it happened.
Thankfully for them, Adai has looked to die for. He's been amazing.
He has, especially in the final third.
And Baturina came in and scored. Jesus Rodriguez is dangerous, even if he's inside his own team's box, because he can give away a penalty. But down that flank, he's super dangerous. They're sixth, Como. They're 3 points off of Inter. They've scored 5 away goals with 4 different scorers. Adai is becoming lethal. Paz is joint top scorer in Serie A. Baturina scored. This isn't a team that is fighting for top 10, bro. This is a team that is battling for as much as Bologna, I would say, for top 4. They and Milan have lost the least amount of games this season. Milan are on 1 loss, Como are on 1 loss, and that 1 loss was to Bologna. No, they're
doing very well.
They're doing very well. Torino, on the other hand, they bless them. They're either going on a 6-match unbeaten run or losing by 5 goals.
Yeah,
It's,
exactly.
This is Baroni syndrome, because we've seen him slip up like this with Torino as well, losing. Sorry, not with Lazio,
With Lazio.
losing to Inter
Yes.
5-1 and the likes.
Baroni syndrome. I love
Baroni
that.
syndrome.
Yes. Lazio 2, Lecce 0, if there's nothing else you want to add from that.
Nothing,
Okay.
sir.
So, Provedel was in goal for Lazio, with Pellegrini, Romagnoli, Gila and Marisic forming the back four. Basic, Cataldi and Guendouzi playing in the middle, with Zaccagni on the left, Isaacson on the right and Boulaye Dia playing up front. For Lecce, it was Falcone in goal, with Gallo and Vega as the wing-backs, with Gabriel and Gaspar at the back, Ramadani and Koulibaly as the central midfield double pivot, with Morente on the right, Sotil on the left, Berisha playing behind Francesco Camarda. So 5 minutes into the game, Sotil scored, but it was ruled out because he had literally two-hand shoved Isaacs into the ground before his goal, and then he reacted in such a way where he went,
Come on, man. No.
let me score even if I push them.
That's so many guys at school like that. You fell for nothing.
Guendouzi scored in the 29th minute after some build-up involving Basic. Basic's work in the build-up was absolutely crucial, and he has become somewhat of an irreplaceable starter for Sarri. Let's take a bit of a side note over here, to the point that Dele Bashiru was fit and available, and apparently Sarri was asked about it, and he was asked like why wasn't Dele Bashiru registered for the game, and Sarri said that it was actually orders from above to not register Dele Bashiru for the game. So I'm not sure what exactly is going on over there, but more
I think
to come.
he's found God, and God told him something. Orders from above.
Orders from above.
One of the 10 commandments. If you have Basic, you must start him.
That's the 11th one.
Yes, out of the 10.
So yes, Guendouzi's goal was basically a slight tackle that ended up in the back of the net, a very awkwardly hit ball that gave Falcone quite a few problems. There were quite a few missed chances in the second half. Lazio had a spell of real danger. Guendouzi hit the post from distance. Zaccagni tried to follow up and struck the woodwork as well. Dia had a goal ruled out as he chased a heavy touch from a Lecce defender that saw him one-on-one, but he fouled Gabriel before slotting home. These could be seen as games gone fouls. This goal
I
over
agree.
here being ruled out by Dia, and the first one by Sotil. They could be seen as games gone. Personally, I just don't mind as long as it's consistent.
Yeah.
Lazio forced Falcone into save after save after save. The way Zaccagni hit the post was comically audacious, bro. It was a volley, like a very awkward volley that kind of saw Falcone let it run and it hit the post, and Falcone was very
Who
surprised.
struck the
by
volley,
that.
sorry?
Zaccagni.
Okay.
Why?
No, because I didn't hear you.
Noslin sealed it late. Providel went route one, long ball over the top that bounced into play. Noslin won a physical duel this time. It wasn't a foul. He got a shot off. Falcone made the first save, but then Noslin headed in the rebound. Yeah, and that was pretty much it. Now, for me, this was Lazio's most convincing performance so far this season. They were totally dominant in every regard. They limited Lecce to virtually very little. I wouldn't say nothing because they did have their chances, but when it comes to every single statistic, Lazio played them out of the park. We're talking 711 passes to 342. They moved the ball with real intention. They forced Falcone into 7 saves. They had an XG of 1.89 with 2 big chances and 19 shots in total. Their goalkeeper only had to make 2 saves. They had 13 free kicks, 9 shots on target. They hit the post twice. Yeah, I think they were very good in this game.
Yeah, I was wondering, what is Lazio's goal for this season? Because in my eyes, if they manage to close the first half of the season and enter the January market being somewhere above 10th, it's a very big achievement and a foundation to work on. Because if they can pinpoint where they've struggled throughout the season and bring in 1 to 2 players to help tweak that and help make them stronger, I don't know, a striker, a central midfielder, a defender, for example, whatever they need, they can get in January. And I think if they manage to enter January, they're in 8th right now. If they enter January somewhere around there, then they can potentially still make a push for Conference League, for Europa League, because they can be a completely different side. Keep in mind with the fact that they didn't make any signings throughout the summer when everyone else did. They got left behind.
Of course.
Sarri needs to make a few Sarri signings.
Exactly.
And in January, after one of the good things about having a transfer ban is that typically it allows you to spend a bit more because of financial fair play.
It's true, and it's an interesting point, bro, because currently as it stands, they're 3 points off 6th, right? So they're definitely not far behind, and they've definitely managed to hold their own in most games. And this game right now was won without the likes of Castellanos, Rovella, Cancellieri, and Gigot, right? When these guys do come back, they'll already look like a different team, and let alone once they finally sign some players to suit Sarri's system, as you said.
Yeah.
We'll see if they go for Insigne. Personally, don't think it's a good idea.
I don't think so either. I love Insigne as one of my favorite.
But why would
Honestly,
you
he's one
sign-
of my favorite players of all time for one reason or another. Insigne. I think it's because my first year on Fanta, I took him. And he won it for me. It was amazing.
That's always a good feeling.
He was 5'2", really cute.
Yeah, I think we should increase the pace over here. Finally, Noslin scored, however, which is absolutely massive for him. He seemed to struggle to find some time, so maybe the fact that he scored right now could convince Sarri to play him more, because Dia alone up front might need some cover.
Lazio have an interesting one now. They have a double header against Allegri's Milan. They are away at the San Siro on the 29th at 8:45. I believe that is the Saturday. And then on the 4th, straight after that, they play Milan again, this time at home in the Coppa Italia. And Milan have had it quite a few times.
Yeah.
And Lazio had it last season with Napoli.
And they beat them 3-0 in the 4-0, I think. In the or in
no,
the cup, and then they lost in the league or something like that. Yeah.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. I thought Lazio moved the ball around faster and they were great this game, to be honest with you. But yes, let's move on.
Let's move on to Cagliari 3, Genoa 3, guys.
Absolute
the
cinema.
Best game of the weekend. Nick is a cinema guy. Nick, you should have watched this game. This is amazing.
Lovely.
This is a Spielberg movie, I would say.
Spielberg?
Cagliari 3.
Not an M. Night. What's his name? Shyamalan. Thanks, because I always say Shalaman.
Alright, Cagliari 3, Genoa 3. Cagliari on an 8-match winless run after a very positive start. Missing Belotti and Rog. Genoa still on 1 win. This is De Rossi's second match in charge after the Fiorentina draw, where he wasn't on the touchline, however, still. They're missing Cornet, Messias, Onana and Quencha. It was a 3-5-2 for Pisacane's men. Caprile in goal, backline of Luperto, Mina and Zappa. Palestra was on the left, Felici on the right, and the midfield trio of Folorunsho, Prati and Deola, with Borelli and Esposito starting up front together. Love that team.
Right, man. I have such a soft spot for them.
Hey, man, the really cool players, Folorunsho,
Every time.
Palestra,
And then they
Borelli,
lose Zortea,
Esposito,
Palestra.
Felici, Mina.
Honestly, Palestra is one of the best in his position at the moment this season.
He's been really good. He's been really good.
Yeah.
For Genoa, it was also a 3-5-2. Leali in goal, backline of Marcandalli, Ostigard and Vasquez. Norton Caffey on the right, Martin on the left, and a midfield trio of Malinovsky, Friendrup and Thorsby with Colombo and Vitinha up front together. Not too shabby either. In the first half, Genoa opened the scoring, making it 1-0 through Vitinha, where Colombo showed some really good hold-up play, bless him.
He's improving.
He is. In this game, because the game before I didn't like him, even though he scored.
He was a mess.
He threaded a perfect ball to Vitinha, who held off Zappa and finished to the far post from 12 yards out, making it 1-0. Cagliari equalised shortly after through Borelli. It was a short corner. Palestra crossed the ball to find Borelli, who headed in over the line, although Leali seemed to have kept it out. Ostigard made it 2-1 moments after.
3-3.
3-3, man. 3 goals in 3 matches for the centre-back. Malinovsky delivered a long ball. Thorsby volleyed into Ostigard's path, and the defender volleyed home for his 3rd goal in 3 matches. They're using him a very similar way to how they used to use Dragusin. Those late runs in, they just knock the ball down to him and he comes in later. Although, what's his name? Dragusin used to do a lot of the knocking down.
Right? While Ostigard seems to be the target man.
Exactly. And then right before the second half, just after Genoa scored, Esposito pulled one back. An immediate response, totally catching Genoa off guard. Deola slid the ball to Esposito, who fired into the top corner using the outside of his foot. So they head into to half-time with the score 2-2. In the second half, Cagliari went 3-2 up, thanks to Borelli once again. It was a back post header from a Zappa cross. Superb timing, Cagliari's first lead of the match. However, and then, in the clumsiest of fashion, a bizarre twist, Martin takes a long free kick from midfield into the box, misses everyone, it bounces over Caprile and into the back of the net. The top performing keeper apart from Magnan and Svilar in Serie A so far produced the biggest blunder I've seen from a goalkeeper in a while. That's amateur not to read the flight of the ball. You should always expect, I mean, if you're seeing the flight of the ball, you're seeing no one's going to get to it, you need to track back into a better position. It was amateur from Caprile.
It was.
Which is unlike him. He was even having an excellent game over here.
But you know what, man? It might end up being good for him because it'll take some of the pressure off. Now I know obviously you'd argue no, it's not good for him because the top teams that might have been looking at him might have been put off, but I do believe that for his career it might be better to just keep getting some minutes regularly, man. You know, I mean, Caprile had already moved to Napoli, right, and didn't get a sniff.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just a good idea to keep playing your game. He's not even old. He's in his mid-20s, right?
Yeah, he's a young keeper,
so yeah, he just needs to continue playing at this level and keep playing well, because I've never seen someone who made such a terrible blunder still score a rating of 7 on SofaScore.
That's true.
And you know, it's very telling because he was great other than that.
Yeah.
Than that lapse in concentration, which happens to everyone.
I think it could be a good thing for his career.
He's 24. Very
Jeez,
young.
man.
That's extremely young. Yeah.
It's younger than Gigio. Crazy. There were some other key moments in this match that I didn't mention. Norton Caffey got a second yellow quite late on, and Leali made a great save. Leali is great at making these reaction saves, and he made one to deny Gaetano on this match. It was great, and he has some excellent reach to him, Leali, man. And it's insane. He's a name that not many people talk about, but it seems to me every week he's pulling off great saves.
He's a solid goalkeeper. He's unspectacular. That's the thing with him. He will pull off good saves, but he won't make them look fantastic, you know. And his distribution is particularly good, particularly his long balls over the top. It's something that I do tend to notice.
Yeah, that's true. He's good with the ball at his feet. I love this game. It was end to end. Cagliari tend to produce these spectacles. There was the Frosinone game last season or the season before, I forget. But Cagliari are a team that for a smaller side, they love attacking, they love scoring goals, and we love entertainment. I mean, they leave themselves open at times, and it seems like they came up against De Rossi's Genoa, who are just like, yes,
Let's go.
Let's fucking go. And
Yeah.
it was proper end to end. These
was
are the
like-
scraps we love seeing in Serie A. Fuck all of you that say the Serie A is a low scoring league because there were 2 match days with a bunch of 0-0s. Like, shut up, kind of thing. Because the Serie A over the past 5 seasons, we've seen it actually being a higher scoring league, and we're not going to be reactionary and say because there are a couple of 0-0s over 2 match days that it's a boring, low scoring league.
Of course,
It
man.
is completely capable of producing spectacles like this, as it produced the 4-3 spectacle between between Juve and Inter. The same fixture got 4-4 last season. The Frosinone Cagliari, that was 4-3, that comeback. These are games that take place in Serie A, and this was no different, man. I enjoyed watching it so much. I'm guilty. I was watching this game, and when I noticed it was 1-1 by the 40th minute, I said, let me see how Bologna Udinese are doing, and I'll watch the last 5 minutes of that half. I entered the second half to watch Cagliari Genoa, and I noticed it's 2-2, and I say, Jesus Christ, what happened? Because it's
Bro.
goals, reactions, just end-to-end stuff.
I wanted to watch Italiano's Bologna, and I was watching that game instead. And when it was like 1-0, I looked at my phone and I saw that the other game was 2-2. I was like, fuck, I picked the wrong game. Shit.
Yeah.
And I was really torn, to be honest. It was a really tough decision because it was like, either I'm going to watch Cagliari, a team I love, against Genoa, who are a really cool
De
team with
Rossi's
De Rossi.
Genoa.
But to be honest, bro, we've been playing a whole lot of Football Manager lately, and I wanted to observe Italiano's style so I can copy it and
Insane.
recreate it in the game for Mansfield in League One in the UK.
Insane, man. Insane. How's that going for you?
Terribly. It's going so badly. My players can't do that shit.
Yeah.
They're terrible. I tell them to switch the ball from one side to the other, just fuck it up every time they've got 9 passing out of 20. It's bad, man.
You know
So
what
it's not going well at all.
Cagliari have that we should both implement in our FM that we don't, man. This great asset, which is dead ball situations.
Oh yeah.
Esposito standing over these dead balls, playing the ball to Borelli, playing the ball to Mina. Even Folorunsho likes to get in there and get dirty.
They're a big team.
They're a very big team. And Borelli, this is the kind of football you need to play with Borelli. Stop playing the bloody ball to his feet. Get his noggin on it. He's an Andy Carroll type of striker if I've ever
He's
seen
sick,
one.
man. I'm a big fan. I keep watching him closely from now on.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. I have forgotten my point.
That's
so,
fine.
so
Were you gonna say that Genoa haven't under Vieira, they looked so slow to create chances, and there was no similar to what we're saying with Juve. There's no urgency to create chances or whatever. They were so vertical in this game, but they were opportunistic in that sense.
It's true. No, I think that he's started off very well, De Rossi, with Genoa, the way he's managing the team. Very interesting to see him going with a 3 at the back. I didn't think he would, to be honest with you, but it seems alright, and maybe I think he wanted to just match what Cagliari were doing. I do remember the point that I was going to make. I was going to highlight one more time Esposito's finish on that goal, because with the outstep, hitting the top corner with so much power and making it look so effortless is not easy. That was a fantastic finish, and it wasn't too long ago that Pisacane called on Esposito and basically asked him to score more goals, and in the last 4 games he scored 2, so he is improving his output.
Absolutely, and this could have been a very impressive victory for Cagliari had it not been that error by Caprila, because Genoa really brought it, and to win an end-to-end game in that manner, to come out on top in a shootout is always impressive. And when it's a boxing match, and you win that fight where you're getting punched in the face 10 times a minute, to show that you could still get that killer blow is super impressive. But that error,
that error at the end was too.
and that's where Cagliari are, unfortunately. They don't have it yet to get the ball over the line as convincingly.
It was the worst error of the weekend,
It was.
because there was another error that we're getting to that was fucking bad at the end as well, that cost them all 3 points.
I'm blanking out.
Joe Vang.
Oh my god.
Yes, terrible error.
But still, this is the worst one, I would say. But Genoa, on the other hand, the passages of play that they had under such a short amount of time with De Rossi, that Ostergaard goal where they get the flick on over there and then Ostergaard coming in late, that shows good continuity from previous management where Ostergaard was scoring as well, but also reinvented with these new ideas that De Rossi brings. I'm excited to see more of him.
Even me.
I'll stop here.
There's no chance I'm going to watch anyone else over Bologna, over Genoa from now on. See, I said Bologna again, bro. I want that Italiano system at Mansfield. Sassuolo 2, Pisa 2. A very entertaining Monday night game over here. We had Muric in goal for Sassuolo in a 4-3-3 with Kande as the left back and Valukovic as the right back, with Muharemovic and Jay Itzes playing at the back.
I love Jay Itzes.
Pride and Joy of... what was it? The Pride and...
Joy...
The Pride of Indonesia. Yes. Kone, Matic and Thordsvet were in the middle, with Fadera on the left, Berardi on the right and Pinamonti up front. Schemper was in goal for Pisa and also in a 4-4-2 formation, Calabresi, Caracciolo, Cannestrelli and Angori were at the back. Christ. Touré was on the right, Leris was on the left, with Piccinini and Abisher in the middle, Tramoni and Inzola playing together up front. So Pisa got an early penalty, and I think it wasn't even a minute into the game, bro. It was a few seconds into the game.
Literally,
it went to VAR.
I think so.
Immediately it went to VAR. And it was a foul on Touré that was in the box.
It's on SofaScore, it says second minute, but I'm sure it wasn't.
It was early. It was a few seconds in,
Literally.
I remember. And yes, it was Inzola who converted the penalty to give Pisa a very, very early lead. And then Sassuolo responded quickly through Nemanja Matic, who scored with a lovely volley that I didn't think he had in his locker. This was 6 minutes in, by the way. So 6 minutes in, we're already 1-1. And we've already seen a penalty and a lovely volley from the unlikeliest source in Matic. Nick,
Serie A.
have you ever seen Matic score a nice goal? Have you ever seen Matic score?
No.
No, never.
I wasn't really watching.
Okay.
Then, I started watching United in 2022.
Okay, fair enough.
Post Mourinho.
We've got Nick, he's young. I was going to say ladies, he has a girlfriend. Henrik Meister scored a lovely solo goal after a good move by Stefano Moreo. This would be the 81st minute exactly, where he charged down the wing, cut inside, and had his shot deflected into the back of the net. But it was a lovely solo goal, and it meant a lot to him. Lovely and well taken. And then Sassuolo at the end, to make sure that this was another Spielberg film on a Monday night. Christian Thordsvet ends up stud poking in a ball from Christian Volpato inside the box and running off in celebrations. This was the 95th minute. He takes off his top. He goes to take it off, thinks about it, and he's like, fuck it. And he rips it off.
He was counting how many yellow cards he's on
probably.
in his brain.
Yeah. It was a very, very entertaining game. Sassuolo were dominant. They had 22 shots, while Pisa had 10. When it comes to shots on target, we're talking Sassuolo 7, Pisa 3. XG of 1.76 for Sassuolo, though Pisa had 1.54, but that would be affected by the penalty, of course. Sassuolo were not overwhelmingly superior in the quality of chances they created, while Pisa were quite efficient with their game plan.
That's Pisa though, man.
They're very efficient.
That's Pisa. Pisa aren't gonna attack or take a risk if they're almost not certain that it's gonna amount to a shot away. They're very calculated for a small team. And they're very physical as well. You see a lot of situations here where the likes of Matic was getting out-muscled, with the likes of Touré, for example, even Abisher, and then Zola putting in some muscle. I really liked Pisa in this game, and I know I'm banging on the same drum that Pisa are actually a very, very good team. I think that they were smarter than Sassuolo in this game. I think Sassuolo have more quality in individuals. I preferred the way Pisa were set up in this game. I think Pisa, I don't know if deserved the win is a bit of a stretch, but I like the way they were set up more than Sassuolo, man.
Yes, because they're compact and they limited the amount of big chances and they hit on the break and they're very efficient with their movement and they still manage to create decent chances. They won't create many, but they will be high quality chances as well. So this essentially is like, to a certain extent, the setup would be the Derby della Madonnina from Wish.
Yeah, fair enough, yes.
A very, very exciting game, but I think we can move on simply because we've hit the 2-hour mark.
Sure, I'd like to see more of Buffon because he had an
he
excellent...
scored 2 hat-tricks. Huh?
Yes, for
in the
under
international
19s or
break,
under
yes.
21s, whatever it was for Czech Republic.
For the Czech
but I'd like to
Republic.
see
And apparently,
more of him.
it was a whole family decision for Buffon to reinvent himself as a player out of his father's shadow. Apparently, he believed that the pressure for playing for Italy with the surname Buffon
Fair enough.
would have been difficult for him.
Fair enough.
But yeah.
Last
interesting.
game, and we'll move on to our classic segments. Verona 1, Parma 2. Verona still winless this season, coming off a 0-0 draw to Lecce and another relegation 6-pointer. They missed Suslov and Serdar. Parma coming off an impressive comeback against Milan, which saw them draw 2-2. They missed Oristano, Almqvist, Ndai, Circati, Suzuki, and Friggin.
Friggin' what?
Friggin shit.
Friggin' hell.
Friggin' hell. 3-5-2 formation for Verona, Montepò and goal, backline of Freze, Nelson and Bella Ketchup. Bradaric on the left, Belgali on the right, with a midfielder of Bernadette, Gagliardini and Akpa Akpro, with Gift Orban and Joe Vane up front together. It was a 3-5-2 formation also for Cuesta's men. Corvi was in goal, the 24-year-old youth product. A backline of Del Prato and Troilo and Valenti. Troilo is a 22-year-old Argentine centre-back they signed from Belgrano for 7 million. They had Bridgegi on the right, Lovic on the left, and a midfielder of Bernabe, Keita and Sorensen, with Pellegrino and Cutrone starting up front together, two of the most industrious strikers in the game. Early in the first half, Gift Orban thought he scored for Verona, but the goal was ruled out for offside. He then dragged his next chance wide and Verona started brightly but couldn't convert. In the 18th minute, Parma opened the scoring. Oliver Sorensen's volley from a long throw hit the crossbar and Matteo Pellegrino headed home the rebound to give Parma the lead. In the 65th minute, Daniel Mosquera dispossessed and outmuscled Keita high up the pitch. Really good work by him. He broke into Parma's half and squared it to Joe Vane, whose flick off the face looped into the net for an equaliser. So the keeper got a hand to it. The ball went up, really clumsily hit Joe Vane in the face and went in. And he did 72 celebrations to celebrate this, including the "I'm here, don't worry, I know Atalanta want me, I know this, that, but don't worry, I'm here." Pointed to the heavens, did like 6 other celebrations. 80th minute, there's a long ball, I think by the goalkeeper.
It was by the goalkeeper.
By the goalkeeper. So Montepò played the ball up all the way to Joe Vane. Joe Vane's like, you know what? I am heading it all the way back to him.
I don't know what the hell he was doing, man.
I don't know what he was doing, but he
doing?
went
What
to
the hell?
head the ball all the way back, either to the defense or back to the goalkeeper. It goes straight to Pellegrino, who's clean through on goal, and he dinks the goalkeeper
What
and
a
gets
chip.
Parma the winner with a delicate chip as the ball was
Not
bouncing.
even a ferocious chip.
It's
He
true,
chipped
it's
it
true.
so high. I haven't seen a chip like that since Ghana against Serbia in the World Cup. Remember when one of the Ghana players chipped Vanja Milinkovic-Savic, and at first everyone thought the goal was offside, but actually stood.
Oh my god,
Remember
yes,
that
bro.
goal? Bro,
yes,
he chipped
yes.
the ball so high up, and then that's what it was like. Pellegrino's
true.
a cool striker, man.
Pellegrino
What a
is
striker.
super cool.
Yeah, I much prefer him when he has that helmet on.
He's cooler like that.
Yeah,
He's cooler
but
that way. There's a cool little mullet going for him
He
as well.
he can score any type of goal, man. He's very complete in that regard. He's so dominant in the air, though. Like his headers are
cool.
great, and he's
cool. I believe he
fantastic
scored
finisher.
against Milan.
Had he scored against Milan?
He had a great game against Milan, that's for sure. But he's proving very decisive for Parma, and I think a big move could be on the cards for him. But poor Joe Vane.
He didn't know
had,
it was
he
Bernabé
didn't.
and Del Prato.
At the end of the game, Joe Vane had his head in his hands, crying. He
Crying, really
was
bad, really
inconsolable because it was his mistake that screwed them from getting a point over here. But that was a huge mistake, and he has to take responsibility for it. But another good win for Parma. 3 points again. Verona started brightly, but they lack this kind of efficiency about them. I think those two forwards are good at creating chances, terrible at finishing them. Parma's opportunism won. They're a very smart team, much like Pisa. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I know we're pressed for time, so that's all really I could say about this game. There was a good substitution made by okay, this is a talking point. So there's a good substitution made by Zanetti in bringing in Mosquera, and I said he should bring in Mosquera more, even though he's quite limited, and clearly he can really bring something to the team. Verona are winless. Verona also were winless or struggling a lot, not winless, but struggling a lot last season, and they hung on to Zanetti. They're winless 12 matches into the season, and again, it doesn't look like Zanetti's going anywhere, man.
I mean, it would be harsh to sack him based on this one. I mean,
12 matches without a win.
No, yes, that's really bad, bro. But when you actually look, this is the delicate situation when it comes to lower tier position football in the table. You have these teams who put up a fight and play with so much spirit and lose marginally on a weekly basis. You would hope that things will get better simply because the eye test passes these teams. They play really well. I mean, in this game as well, they played on par with Parma. They deserved the draw. The problem is maybe they didn't deserve the win. That's when things things actually matter. I don't know, man, to be honest with you. I think Zanetti at this point, he managed to save them last season. Maybe they have a bit of confidence with him. Maybe they believe that the team and the way he started, they'll grow into the season. I don't know. If though the gap does start to increase, because I think the teams around Zanetti are also doing him a favor, because as it stands, there are 4 points from safety. When that 4 becomes 6, and then you have
Parma, you're saying? No.
Verona are 4 points from
last,
safety. They're dead last right now. Same points as Fiorentina, but
crazy.
We'll see how this develops. I've enjoyed watching Verona. I think they play with a lot of spirit, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no, then they do, but
it's a results-based industry.
Exactly.
Yes.
Shall we do a quick prediction run, brother, for next weekend?
Yes, of course. Oh my god.
So, match day 13 in Serie A starts off with Como Sassuolo. I'll start and say that's a Como victory.
That is a draw.
Okay. Parma Udinese.
That is a draw.
I'll say a draw as well for that. Genoa Verona. I say that's a Genoa win.
I say draw again, bro. Fuck it.
It's gonna be another nil. Those
one of those.
Are those all nil?
Fuck it. They're all nil. All of them.
Juve Cagliari.
I'll go Juve. Come on.
I'll also go Juve. Milan Lazio. I'll go Milan.
Fuck it. Tough game, huh? Tough fucking game.
It is.
By no means is that gonna be easy.
Lecce Torino.
Torino bounce back. Do they? Torino bounce back. Torino.
Draw. Pisa Inter.
Inter.
That's just my turn, but Inter, sure.
I don't know where taking turns. I didn't even realize.
Atalanta Fiorentina.
Atalanta home. Atalanta Fiorentina. I've liked what I've seen from Vanoli's Fiorentina. It's meant to be rapid fire. Draw.
I will also say draw. Roma Napoli. Sunday night. I will go with Napoli.
Draw.
Roma.
Yeah.
Bologna Cremonese.
I go Bologna. Italiano, baby.
Bologna. Yes.
On a Monday night.
Perfect.
Oh, no, okay, never mind. I thought Roma and Napoli was going to be on at the same time as Bologna, but I'll be studying.
No, that's our that's our quick fire prediction round. If we want more we want more talk about the games. No, it's rapid fire. Sorry, really sorry.
I'm sure people are fed up of our voices 2 hours.
Yeah, off to our segment.
If you're not, comment. I'm not.
Exactly.
No more context.
Respect.
Yes.
Off to our segment. Wisdom with the wank. You're doing it again. You haven't improved the wanking. You keep wanking. You're constantly wanking. You're not a kid anymore. Okay. Failure is when you fall and stay down. Hashtag positive vibes only. Hashtag the big shark.
Oh yeah. Now of course this was when he was with Crotone. Crotone are nicknamed the Sharks. So he would be automatically and naturally the big shark. Can you repeat that one more time, bro, for those listening?
Failure is when you fall and stay down.
Yeah.
But can I just 2 words to react to that? Fuck yeah.
Yeah. But what if you're constantly falling and getting up and falling again, but you're falling over the same thing over and over again? Surely that's failure.
Firstly, you've been listening to too much Harry Styles. You're falling again, I'm falling
Is that
again,
Harry Styles?
I'm falling.
I thought that was Winter Moods of Van Greg.
Jeez, that is Harry Styles. He's bang on, but no, I think
He is. He's hardly ever wrong.
when you fall, you do fail though. No, surely. Like Joe Vane failed, and
But
his
maybe-
team failed as a result of him.
But maybe he's saying it's only failure when you don't take a lesson out of it.
That's true, and also you're giving yourself a chip on the shoulder to come back stronger. So, like we said about Caprile for that mistake, he won't be making it again. Joe Vane won't be making it again. I think failure is also repeating the same fall, man. I think
yes.
repeating the same fall is a form
Yes.
of failure because you're not taking your lesson out of it, man.
Exactly. So maybe we need to edit this one, Simi, a little bit. I'm sure you
Exactly.
can. When's this post from?
This post is from Jesus. I have one of those false sneezes, bro. Give me a sec.
Yeah, just wait a bit. Well, my brother sneezes. You've done really well this episode, considering your illness.
I was feeling a bit better throughout it,
I
but
hope you've
now I'm
gotten me
feeling
sick.
shit again.
I would love to play some FM for
This was
40 hours straight.
11:14 a.m. on May 3rd, 2021.
Okay.
So interesting to see what
And
game
to be
that
fair,
would have
man,
been after.
he practices what he preaches, because whenever he has a poor run or it seems to be over for him, Simi, he always bounces back, man, always.
That's it.
Yeah.
Wisdom with the wank. Yes.
We're going to YouTube. We're doing this.
I guess we're doing it.
Let's
Eh?
do it, eh?
So Sassuolo played Pisa. So that is Sassuolo.
Sassuolo. Forza
Pisa.
Sassuolo.
Okay. You're playing the music, bro. Jake,
Oh,
isn't.
will you read them? Sure, that's a good idea. I'll play
No,
the
I
national
think-
anthem.
I think Nick is getting national anthem.
Okay, nice.
Alright. Bravo, Jay, it says.
Jay, best centre back in Serie A right now.
Jay, it says, and Sassuolo. Go, go, go. Flex, flex. Indonesia, Indonesia, heart, heart.
It says ... Jay Allah Sassuolo.
J, heart.
Jay, it says thumbs up.
J, Allah, Sassuolo.
Wait a second when I translate. There are very few people watching. Wow. Sassuolo game.
Sassuolo Stadium. That's insane. J, J, J. Heart, heart, heart.
Sassuolo fans from Indonesia.
I have to translate. It's a shame it had to be a draw. Hopefully we can get 3 points in the next match. Love from Indonesia.
The gathering point for Indonesian national team supporters to support Jay It Says link.
J, it says. Indonesia. It says. Burn, it says.
It says the best. It says heart. Keep up the spirit and keep improving the quality of Jay It Says, then a higher level awaits you.
Fuck yes, man. What's this?
This is good.
A lot of people are commenting that it was Grosso against Gilardino
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
in this game. And
good
also a
observation.
lot of love for Matic and pointing out that the penalty 5 seconds in.
Yeah.
Insane.
Jay It Says Indonesia. Nothing else. Just his name and his nationality. Jay It Says from Indonesia.
Jayadi.
Italian referee is too dramatic.
J, it says The pride of the nation.
Yes, Jay, it says Kabanggan Bangsa. That's how you say it in
that's the
Indonesian.
one.
The pride of the
Seppi
nation.
Penonton, quiet audience.
This is my favorite one that is translated. I ordered pizza and they're playing football here.
Probably same, bro.
Alright.
It's shocking that there are teams with fewer spectators than the K-League.
Yeah, alright, we get it.
Amazing. Guys,
Yeah.
thank you so much for tuning in. We will catch you all next week. Love from Indonesia.
Love from Indonesia.
If you like Serie A or have ever liked it in the past, it's a good opportunity for you to listen once a week and you'll get filled in.
In the football weekend, that's like the main dish. But then a few days later, you drop your episode and that's like the dessert. And the dessert is just perfect.
It's good, the cake.
It makes it feel like we're all sitting in a room together, just BSing with each other.
The atmosphere is fantastic.
I promise nobody will ask you to send boob pics.
Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit.
I love how you go into so much detail and show so much passion towards each and every team. Literally, no team is left undiscussed.
When I listen to you, it's like I'm talking to you in a pub. It's like I'm chatting to a friend and you're chatting to me.